In the name of Charlie Conacher, Syllaps, and Johnny Bauer, amen. Brothers and sisters of Leafs Nation, as the Stanley Cup Playoffs moves into their second round, for the 18th time in the last 19 seasons, our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs find themselves on the golf course instead of the ice rink. Just when it looked like they were turning a corner, they bow out to the Bruins from Boston yet again. It was a bittersweet send-off. After being behind 3-1 with the season on the line, the Leafs had played possibly the three best defensive games in my lifetime. However, it just wasn't enough. The legend of Joseph Wall was building, but his injury misfortune struck at the worst possible time in what was a comedic string of misfortune for the blue and white this series. At times, Samsonov was back to his old swimming ways, Nylander out with the headache, Matthews out with the tummy ache, Tavares the captain played, but with very disappointing results, and Marner. Oh, Marner, are you afraid of the moment or just afraid? I'm afraid we need to break up. The rising star coach Sheldon Keefe becomes the scapegoat, but he was unable to inspire a group once touted as the future of the NHL, but now can't even sniff a conference final berth. Simply to say, a decade under Shanahan has not yielded the desired results. While big changes and intriguing prospects approach in the near future, one must wonder when the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club will eventually end the drought and bring hockey glory back to the team and to Leafs Nation. Spread Leafs love, not Leafs hate. Let's go watch the new Planet of the Apes. Amen. Welcome back to The House That Happens, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill in Etobicoke, the only place to be. I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and I'm going to have so much fun today. That was amazing, bro. Oh, by the way, we just got to have full disclosure here. I did not laugh anytime he was giving that brilliant soliloquy. We are going to have so much fun with Leaf Nation today. I'm going to start hooking up Leaf Nation and Cinco de Mayo. See what comes at the end comes quicker. Oh, but we'll discuss that much later. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, Shuey's is still under renovations, I do believe.
Yep.
We are still in North Etobicoke, but we are in the humble confines of Cruz's Chaos, where we spawn, conceive, and get involved with all things music and sports. And, oh, gee, what am I going to say about your Toronto Maple Leafs, buddy? That was a nice soliloquy, but we're going to deal with you guys along the way. Leaf Nation, you know what? When I was walking my dog, I was very nice to the hood. I'm in Etobicoke. Wasn't this where Leaf Nation was born? Someone in Scarborough might tell you something different.
Sure.
But I'm in the heart of Leaf Nation. Like Woodbridge, you are like a son of Leaf. Like, you know what? You're the offspring. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, once it started, it had to have children, and Woodbridge is a proud son of Leaf Nation. I agreed.
Sure, that makes sense.
Look at that. So when I went through, I was very nice to them, and I had mixed reactions to how this went about, and I said, you know what? I'm going to help these people out today. So by the end of the show, I'm going to you Leaf fans, stick with me. Okay, come on. There's a bright. No, there's not. Come on, stop it. Stop it right now. How you feeling, bro?
This week felt like a month.
Oh, didn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna discuss the Leaf situation. Oh, by the way, it was very, very cool. We did get to watch, as we told everyone, Game 6. I'll be honest with you. I was at a concert. I jumped out. There was 5 minutes left in the second period, and then I got to watch the rest of it. And then I turned around and looked and said, "How you doing, Leaf fans in the bar?" It was like, you know, when you put the balloon and you just hear it going. Tss.
Well, at what point was this in the game?
Overtime. Scored the goal.
Yeah.
There was a tremendous amount of enthusiasm into it, but the hardcores were nervous. And, of course, you know me. I couldn't just sit there with all this atmosphere going on and not saying a word after seeing a great performance of what was, I think, a glorified tribute to Kansas, but there was some originals. Great show, whatever it is. But we're going to get back to your Maple Leafs. Don't worry.
We will.
We got lots to say about that wonderful thing called MLSE. Is that what they call it? And the boys there? We're going to get to the press conference. We are going to get to Mr. Milani's assessment of perhaps maybe who should belong to the 2024-2025 roster, so don't go away. That will be quite interesting. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at starting a little bit different, because we like to start it with a few shout-outs, don't you?
Absolutely, as always.
Okay, so let's just change the planet. First of all, a whole bunch of lights went on last night, right? Didn't they have some kind of solar weird. Yeah, go on the internet. They're talking about it. And if you were down closer to my brethren town of Southern Ontario, near Point Pelee, it was all these great. It was like the Northern Lights came south.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it happened last night. Anyways, depending on your opinion, what happened if you read Revelations, that could be the beginning of, because it hasn't happened in quite a period of time. And last time I think was around Sodom and Gomorrah or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but I know it was a while ago. Which brings me to a point that I heard this week that perhaps maybe you can help me out with that. Did you hear that this week there was a albino bison born?
No, I had no idea.
Out somewhere in Montana or I don't know, somewhere where Frank Zappa sang a song about 1 in 10 million buffalo or some shit like that is albino. And according to the Lakatawa tribe, who are indigenous to the land and backed up by the Comanche and Navajo nations, they believe that this is a sign of tremendous change.
Good change?
And upheaval. Well, as I researched a little bit more, I guess it would which group of indigenous people you talk to. Okay. So they say it could go this way, but these guys say it could go that way. Kind of like Leafs and Habs fans. You know what I'm saying? Like you ask them about the same hockey game, things might be different. But I thought that was interesting. And we are in a time of change, aren't we?
We are always in a time of change, I would say.
Okay, Leafs just fired their coach. I guess
did.
Change is coming. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I don't know what the albino bison's name is, but I thought that was quite interesting in a time where we are getting 1 in a million things happening, like the solar eclipse, the bison, the lights last night, and I don't know, Dark Lakes. And is there a movie coming out, Dark Matter?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about that. But anyways, we thought we'd try to say that's how we're going to change it. We hope that the bison brings wonderful upheaval to this chaotic world we live in.
Yes, certainly a lot of change in the NHL. Lindy Ruff just hired. He's already the 26th longest tenured coach in the NHL, and he just got there. He was hired not even a month ago. Because there's already been 6 coaches fired since. What a world.
Oh, my God. I never even thought about that till you brought it up, eh? But it is a revolving door, so to speak, right?
Yeah, Pete DeBoer brought up, I guess, his frustrations with that. And I can understand because it seems to be, I don't know, they seem to be going more pro player than pro coach. I think we've gone a little bit too far on that side. The pendulum, I think, is going to come swing the other way sooner than later.
It always seems to do because it is cyclical, but I'm going to look at it this way, where every time there's been a crazy coaching change, there has been a great result.
All the time? Or just in recent memory are we talking?
Patrick Roy got the Islanders into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then what?
What's his name? Okay, that's what we're saying, but you know what I mean? We'll get to the dinero lately because it's all about a fistful of dollars. Maybe that's the name of the show. What I'm getting at is Los Angeles, Islanders, Edmonton. All we're in, looks like that train's going straight off the track. Change coaches.
I mean, LA not the greatest example either.
I'm not going to say. I'm
your
just
boy
saying,
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
We're going to get to him later in the show. We owe a special appearance by Pierre-Luc Dubois a little bit later in the show. I trust you will get to that. No doubt about it. Hey,
Habs can get him on the cheap.
We're going to. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to score 40 goals. But let's get back to our shoutouts. Oh, my God.
Okay. Actually, there's a YouTube video I got to send you where it basically shows that, like, every team he goes to, like, gets worse when he gets there.
Oh, I know.
Going back to his draft year when he got sent back to junior.
Yes, didn't they screw things up or miss? No, they didn't miss the playoff.
I think he might have just been pissed they got sent back to junior, but like
and
that's
they
not
lost
that.
in the first round or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, we'll get to hockey later. Tons of hockey later.
Oh yes,
obviously. But we will start off with one of my favorites.
Wait.
More shout outs?
Yes, a couple. One more shout out. We do want to shout out to Zach Sandu.
Oh yes.
And we watched them on the Oshawa Generals. The score was a little rough.
Yep. I was at one of the games.
Yes.
Last weekend.
I'm glad they made the finals, but London looks a little bit more dominant than maybe when they get back to Oshawa, we're going to see.
We'll see. But best of luck to Zach Sandu and the Oshawa Generals.
Yes, of course it is, because we do keep it in the Shoeys family as much as we can.
Zach, come on the show.
Yes, when you can.
We'll set that up with Serge this summer.
I'm just going to say one thing really quickly. I still like Nick Beverly. That's all I'm going to say. I still like Nick Beverly. Did you hear about his escapade?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, I still like Nick. I'd like to try to pull that off, but I couldn't. If you don't know about Nick Beverly, we're not going to waste enough time. Just, what is it? Did you sign my pod? Did you sign my pod? Did you sign up to my podcast?
Patrick Beverly, you mean?
Patrick Beverly. Yeah. What did I say? Nick Beverly. He's a hockey player. Patrick, get him straight. You know what I'm
Got
saying?
suspended 4 games for being a dumbass, but...
Oh, yeah, completely. Ignorance levels do have to be slapped. You know what I mean? And, of course, we have to have a big shout-out because they say what could be the greatest roast of all time by somebody close to both you and I and a Michigan alumni.
Yes.
The greatest roast of all time for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I've seen a few clips, some hits, some misses, but overall I think it went over pretty well.
When you get paid $30 million to do something like that, I would do it too, don't you think? Did you know?
Sure.
Did you hear that the price tag was $30 million?
That's for a paid appearance?
Tom Brady got 30
million.
got
$30 million.
That's the word around the campfire is Netflix said, hey, Tom, you want to do a roast? Why would I do a roast? Well, here's $30 million. Okay, let's do it.
Making up for some of the money lost in crypto?
Oh, and you know what? I still say this. I hope that one day that some magical thing happens like Ben Affleck and J-Lo got back together, that one day, like out of nowhere, they'll see a cloud.
That couple, I still think they make no sense, but Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
They're both bitches, so it's probably why it's working. I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of either. So.
Okay, well, I'm not. I like some of his movies, but that's another story. I'm just saying that it's going to come out now, but they keep everything in-house, which they should, because the family business is family business. And all the jokes they make about the karate instructor and Giselle, and Tom can't walk into a house with somebody who's seeing him, he's with Kim Kardashian or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is money seems to be, when we get to it in 20 years from now, I'll be dead and gone. You'll hear the story, see the movie. They'll make a movie out of it. It'll be about crypto, which is still corrupt, don't you think?
Sure.
How much crypto do you have, bud?
None.
Yeah, I gave it to that guy down the street there. You know, he was the homeless guy.
Lost it?
I said, here you go, buddy. I don't show it's going to work out for you, but here's my crypto. You know what I'm saying?
Any other shout-outs?
Just one more, because if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be a successful, what would you call it, analysis, week-by-week assessment of the San Francisco Sluggers. San Francisco. We had our first doubleheader on last Tuesday night. We won one. We lost one. That's okay. Thank you very much. I did hit in the second slot. Once again, I want to talk out to my son.
I thought you were batting leadoff.
No, they said, no, he's old man. We can't. And I agreed with it. When I batted lead, I was making a joke about it because I am the upgrade, and I was. Can I just say that? Can I blow some, if you don't have no music, if you don't blow your own horn sometimes. In any event, team looked good. As long as we try hard. Zach, you're doing a great job of putting it together. Just going to shout out for anyone that listens to the cast, which is a bunch of guys on the team. Thank you very much for listening, because we are going to keep a close eye on the San Francisco Sluggers. We are not playing with a rover. We're 4 straight, cut off the skirt, throw to the cutoff man, and make contact with the ball. That's how we'll start, because we're a work in progress, buddy. We're a work in progress. Mm-hmm. But you will come out and see us, and you'll see how it's done.
I will.
I held my own. I played second base. We had to play all the time. My legs were a little sore. But I will be back in the park practicing, because this is going to be a fun season. We got Curry and Dubs. We got Cody and Dubs out on Tuesday night, who are supposed to be our Bichette and Vladdy. So let's see how that works out. You know what I'm saying? Which
Bo and Vladdy are you getting, though?
I hope 2 years ago version. 2 years ago version. Big guy, you're doing a great job, by the way. We're 1-1, and we're out to win.
Love it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's all for shout-outs?
That's all I can think of. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, well, I guess it's Mother's Day tomorrow, so shout out to all the mothers and women that want to be mothers and have been mothers and all that.
I agree with you. And happy heavenly Mother's Day to my mom. Great, 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 great woman. We miss her every day. And, of course, I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't say the same thing about my former mother-in-law, Gail's mom, Izzy. Great, great woman. We miss you. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Happy Mother's Day. We'll be at my sister's tomorrow
celebrating. Cool.
And now for one of my favorites, one of your favorites, Formula One. Miami was quite the exciting race. Lando Norris getting his first ever Formula One Grand Prix victory.
I thought that was really, really cool. I like the guy to start with. McLaren's looking like they make some noise this year. Because remember last year they were butting, they wanted to be a top 3 and they didn't quite get there.
Now they are a top 3.
Yes, they are. There's a long way to go.
They've already built up quite a gap between them and Mercedes between 3rd and 4th.
I'm impressed with that. I heard that Zach Brown had a full-blown orgasm as soon as freaking Norris went across the finish line. I don't know if that's realistic impression, but I heard this, which I found interesting. 15 podiums before he got a Grand Prix win.
Yep.
So that's you know what I'm saying? It takes you a while to get there sometimes, especially when the competition that he's had to face in his career.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's facing against all teams that are supposed to be beating him all the time. What I realized is, and I said, I'm going to get you to explain it better than me. I understood that they had the bang up. The safety car came out, but he had already made his pit stop anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what had happened? So when he popped out and the safety car said everyone's
well, no, he went in when the safety car was in, so you lose less time.
Yeah, that's what was that. Yeah. What? Okay, yeah.
And then the safety car comes out. If you go in the pits, then it's you lose less time than you would if it was whatever normal race conditions, a green flag.
And he took the opportunity to do it, and it paid off by about 5 seconds to start. Mm-hmm. And of course, Max ended up second place, which is anytime you get a second is still good, except for our worldwide villain. And he ended up being 7 seconds behind, which sounds like a huge gap when we're talking about McLaren and Red Bull.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I went, ooh, that's a lot. But
yeah, McLaren had a tremendous upgrade package for Norris. And then, from what I understand, they kind of gave half those upgrades to Oscar.
Yep.
But I imagine they're going to move all those to both cars for the race next weekend. It's in Imola, I believe, Italy.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. And not only that, though, what's his name? Oscar Piastri, whatever. He ended up 5th or 6th too, didn't he?
No, in the
did he end up top
in the race
10?
itself, he was 13th.
Oh, I thought he ended up higher. It was in the sprint though. Maybe he got
in the sprint he was 6th.
Okay,
he got the fastest lap in the race too, but it didn't count for points because he wasn't in the top 10.
Yeah, that's another. It's another weird one. I said, oh, the guy got no, he doesn't get that. He wasn't in the top 10.
No, you have to be in the points to
get the point.
To get that, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm learning more and more about it any day, but I thought the race was interesting when that move was made. A lot of cars were really trying to. Once again, which I'm learning about, is the tire management. The heat in Miami was higher than usual at this time of year, I hear. The track, the actual asphalt or whatever the track is notoriously rough on tires. Mm-hmm. Then you add the heat, and then what do you do? And I thought that was an interesting part of the race. How much drag you put on your car when you're going into the chicane, due to the fact that your tire might be doing this. Wow. Sometimes, like I said, it sounds like algebra to me. But the jockeying is cool. It's ended up happening when they get it, because there's enough room to jockey in this. I've seen some great moves around the corners, great passing. Who was it? I think it was Oscar Pastrana. Lost to 2 guys on one curve because he tried to go inside. They went outside. Boom. 2 guys went right past him because they had enough room to break it out there. Now, I think when you place this in Italy next week, the lanes are much narrower, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not exactly a wide track.
Yeah, so that's what changes the game here, right? That's why I'm starting to think I like the tracks where I understand where you control the race. Like in those tracks, you get down there in max and you can control the race. You got the car and you can keep yourself out there. That's a whole different level of the racing that, you know what I mean, is part of the sport. But I kind of like it when you can get on them crazy corners and let's see what happens. Zing. You know what I mean?
But Imola's going to have no shortage of places to pass, so it should be a good one. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Oh, okay.
So, and also Alpine getting their first point.
Yes.
Ocon earning a 10th place finish, leaving Williams and Sauber as the only 2 teams yet to score a point, and Daniel Ricciardo appears to have saved his job.
Oh yes, he did good in the sprint and he did good in the race out of nowhere. They like him.
He was 15th. He was okay in the race.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
4th in the sprint though, so that's what counts. 5 points, I believe that was worth.
And he is still a personality based on that series.
Oh sure,
because he helped to put the series on the ground those first couple of seasons, just being whatever it is, vivacious guy that he is. But history has shown you made mistakes, buddy.
A couple.
Yeah. But that's how it works in the world of sports. I think it's going to be the great thing about on the weekend, and I talked to a couple friends about it, is the fact that Max didn't win the way that McLaren was the ones that came up and it wasn't Mercedes or Ferrari. That changes the whole dynamic of the season when you think about it from a constructor's thing, because I don't think nobody's going to catch Red Bull. Red Bull's going to run away, even as only 6.
Likely not.
Likely, but I'm saying
it's still early. I have seen teams blow it this early, but I mean,
we've only had 6 races. That means we've got what, 18 to go or 16 to go?
18 to go.
18. It's
a 24 race calendar, so get ready.
But I think things could happen. But I'm just saying the way the cars go, situations. people talking about who's under whose hood now because that Mr. Newey's a free agent, or basically it is. But we'll keep our eye on
Basically, it
things.
looks like he's going to Ferrari.
Yeah.
Although there's a chance the race brought up that he could go to Williams, where he started as kind of like a little bit of a challenge, basically. Like, see what you can do with like less resources, try and get them back to maybe not championship caliber, but competitive caliber, you know, where you're competing for points on the regular.
I believe that he can do whatever he wants.
Oh, absolutely.
And good for him.
But the money from Ferrari or Aston Martin, for that matter, might be too much to turn down. Anything else for Formula One, or we're good to move on? We will take this to the PWHL. Toronto finds themselves up 2-0 on PWHL Minnesota. They won game one. Excuse you. They won game one 4-0 and game two 2-0 last night.
They are by far the superior team.
And all this that I heard coming in is like, oh, Minnesota's going to be pissed that they chose them. Wow. Oh, the disrespect because they had Natalie Spooner's son throw a ball, and that was to determine the team.
Oh, come on. Stop it. They're just a better team.
Not even close.
And it makes for, because I did, to tell you the truth, I have watched. And I watched the Montreal.
Boston.
That's a much more competitive game, I've noticed. It's just that what I find in women's hockey, and it's not their fault, is sometimes they miss the open shot. You know what I mean? Like, they generate a lot of offense, but I don't get to see the shots on goal. So the game moves well. I mean, like, there's a big difference between girls and boys at the best of times. But I'm just saying that sometimes I think Toronto should score more. They scored 4. They won 4-0. But even in the 2-0 game, I thought they should have scored more.
In game one, only 19 shots, but they scored 4, which is incredible.
Well, that's only because that goaltender is not ready for the Vezina just yet, which is another factor you have to put into there, because, like, where do they find these girls that play goal? I don't know. All over the place. I hear mostly in college.
College, yeah.
But I find one of the weakest parts of the whole PWHL is the goaltending at times, because I've seen some just terrible goals.
Well, that seems to be a problem in hockey in general, is it not?
Point well taken.
Because Toronto, they have, like, she's like either the number 1 or number 2 Kristen Campbell for Team Canada, depending on who you ask. Like, how many of those goalies are there really in the world? 3 or 4?
If that.
Yeah.
But I thought that the goaltending was pretty solid in the OT game, because didn't that game go overtime?
Toronto, no.
No, but
the Montreal one.
Yeah, I think it went to overtime.
Yeah, that one, and yeah, Boston won 2-1 in overtime.
Yeah, so like the goaltenders it was a mix of, like, should have been more offense, but the goalies did make the right saves at the right time, and it wasn't a high. Check the goal, the shots on goal in that game.
So Boston had 26 shots. Montreal had 54.
54?
54 shots on goal. Only put away one.
I didn't, yeah. Well, as I said, that girl, whoever she is, she's a first-team All-Star now.
No kidding.
I didn't know it was that many shots, and I thought Montreal should have won the game. You know what I mean? It was a game stolen.
If you're out shooting the other team like 2-1.
Yeah. So I bet you I'd love to hear what the shot attempts were. 375? Just saying.
I don't know if the PWHL is tracking those.
God bless America. That's all I got to say. God bless America. And the Pro Women's Hockey League, which is holding up attendance-wise.
Yes. Toronto's playing at Coca-Cola Coliseum. I don't imagine there's going to be a Game 5 in this series, although I could be wrong.
No.
So that would set up either a Toronto-Boston or Toronto-Montreal final. How ironic.
Oh, I hope
that if whoever Toronto does make the fall, I mean, they should make the finals, but I hope they do move to Scotiabank. I think
let's have a game there for sure. Why not? The usual tenants are already moved out.
Exactly. Just concerts there now this summer.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there'll be concerts from, you know what? What's really cool is sometimes you're going by Scotiabank or the Vault, and you see a mad audience going, like, what's going on at the bank tonight? And it's a singer, maybe an Italian singer. You know those Italian singers come and play Scotiabank?
Oh, yeah.
They sell out, or a Bollywood singer or a Brazilian singer, like people we don't even know, which makes our city so cool. Because some some entertainer I've never heard of in my life comes to Scotiabank and sells it out. Like on a Tuesday in July.
Did the Clintons sell out Scotiabank when they had their talk here?
Oh, that would be disgusting if they did.
I don't know if they did. I just remember
Oprah did something there that sold out, didn't she? She sat on a stage and did some shit. Was it that?
She probably would be able to sell it out.
I'm sure she did. Didn't she sit on stage and then she talked to like some Canadian people, women, about We
I
are
don't know.
whatever. We are women, hear me roar or some shit. I don't know. Anyways.
Women in media kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat, though, that the Scotiabank now, let the women play there. That's our original premise.
Agreed.
I hope they get to sell it out because, the diversity of our city will give it the rest of the time that it's needed to make more money from MLSE, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. Keeping it with women's sports, we'll move this to the WNBA. Toronto announced to have a WNBA team spearheaded by Larry Tannenbaum for 2026. It's pretty cool. I imagine they're going to play at Coca-Cola Coliseum as well.
That's on the exhibition grounds, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, now let's get something straight here. So we're talking about that's 2 seasons from now?
Yes.
25, 26?
Well, just 26. So they're a summer league.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be
Yeah.
26 and that. So it's 2 years from now, right? Yeah, that's because I've got to get another team to match it for scheduling and some nonsense like that for expansion purposes.
Probably because the WNBA is a 12-team league, I believe.
Yeah, and the
So
Matrix
get to
says they need
14.
14, something like that. I don't really know.
13 is a weird number.
Yes, it is.
to do scheduling for. So
I don't really worry about that when you think about it in that context. However, one thing I
well,
want
not the bad luck thing. I'm just saying it's an odd number. Like it's
so it's 7. So it's 19.
Yeah. That what sports leagues do you see with 7 or 19 teams?
None.
Yeah, there you go.
In any event, there's been a lot of buildup because the season just started, right? And I think tomorrow night on prime time, or is it tonight or somewhere near prime
Indiana
time?
versus Connecticut.
How did you know?
I just saw the ad on TV.
Oh, right. We do have a screen behind us, right? Well, yeah.
They're showing the Intimidator now, Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, okay. There we go. Something I don't really watch. We have a debate about that one time, NASCAR, Formula One. Because you know what? The people that I should have noticed about this, some very big people who make very big noise in the sporting world, and they seem to hang around places like WWE, trash Formula One. And I just go, okay, I'm just going to say, you're going to go and try to glorify a cartoon soap opera compared to the highest level of competition in the world? I don't get it.
I don't get that either.
We'll have a debate about that one day.
Not against me. I think
No. I think we're on the same page.
Oh, absolutely.
We're on the same page about this. That's what I'm getting at. Now I lost my train of thought.
WNBA.
Anyways, that's what I'm getting at. So when you're bringing people in and doing as such in 2026, I think that when we're talking about the league and the hype behind it, people don't understand that. I hope that everybody gets on the Caitlin Clark train. Because, she is the tide, and the tide raises all boats. Mm-hmm. So there's a interesting thing is that, and I hope it doesn't transpire, because I'm cheering for her on this level, which I heard someone say this week, and it's so much true. If so much is given, then so much is required. Mm. You know what I mean? So sometimes if she goes out there and she has a faulty moment, what is a good, bad, or ugly season for Caitlin Clark? Like, what if she's 14-5-5 in her first year in the WNBA? Isn't that a solid season?
I would think so.
You know what I mean? So I think that I am for the love of the game and the elimination of drama and the stupidity of the media. I'm hoping she has great success in order that'll be hyped for 2026 when the league comes here. You know what I'm trying to say? So all the people that are saying, what if? Because, if she doesn't get to a certain level, I fear the backlash.
Well, let's see. Let's see how this, at least how our first few games go.
I'm cheering for her to get 14-5-5. That'll be great, people. She's not going to come out and be Jordan right away.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But I do believe, and don't expect her to be a Candace Parker, because that's come up where Candace Parker was Rookie of the Year and MVP at the same time. Okay, that's one of the almost Mount Rushmore of women's basketball.
Who just got a big job at Adidas.
Damn right she did, and she's great as her second job when she's got a mic in front of her.
On TNT.
Yes, she is. She's very good. But in any event, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm cheering for her, because it's great that the doors and avenues of women's sports have opened so wide these days, and it's all about that. It's great competition. So let's talk about it as a competitive thing, not as success or failure.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm getting at?
And speaking, you brought up stupidity before. Indianapolis Star bans Greg Doyle from covering Indiana Fever games.
Best thing I heard all week. That made me happy. I don't know. Maybe people say, is that happy in a perverse way? No. First of all, we are men, right? And as men sitting at these microphones, we'd like to be respected as men that our mother and fathers have brought up properly. Buddy, you did something stupid. You made all men look bad. Just by your thing. So now that you get pushed to the back of the line, my heart bleeds purple piss. Sir, you can't make it. And guess what? You're a reporter. He's an Indiana reporter too, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Eat my shorts, buddy. I don't feel bad about that at all. You know what I mean? Did not feel bad about it at all. You know?
We will keep this moving. We'll move to Toronto FC. They won 3-1 against Dallas last Saturday, a game running against the infamous Leaf Game 7. Today they play, they're back at home against New York City FC, and Toronto finds themselves third in the conference against New York, who is seventh. So another chance for a few points here this evening.
Well, the bottom line is now it seems to be they are, how many games is this now? They've played 10, 12?
I just had it, Mike. 11.
11, okay. So now we're into a third of the season, correct?
Pretty much.
Okay, so it seems to me that they've suddenly moved into a playoff position that looked a little bit more secure than 3 games ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the upside of their play by adding these players, which has given them plenty of time to mesh, this should be good. And this next game's in New York, though, isn't it?
No, it's in Toronto.
Their BMO record's not too bad, is it?
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. So, yeah, let's win. It's a lesser team. Keep going. We're looking for victories in Toronto.
Absolutely.
We're looking for A-list teams, and at the moment, we're not really looking at a lot of them. So Toronto FC, lift our spirits, please.
Yes, Sean Johnson is tied for 5th in clean sheets, and then we got Owusu, who is top 10 in goals. So
excellent.
Big shout out to them.
Yes.
Go Reds.
Go Reds.
We will turn this to the CFL, where Chad Kelly suspended 9 games for sexual misconduct in the workplace, a.k.a. he was a giant schmuck.
Okay, so we just get to give a Greg Doyle a backhand. Well, if we're giving this guy a backhand, what the hell do we do with Chad Kelly? Just push him off the boat? Okay,
well, he's suspended for 9 games. That's half the season in the CFL,
okay,
right?
So, but you know what? Then why is he at practice?
He's still allowed to practice at team discretion.
Okay, so my original premise when this came up a while ago, when I said alleged, let's not bury people and all that stuff, where I didn't really want to defend the guy, but I'm saying we haven't got to a court of law or whatever, so let's just slow the roll, right?
But
now we've had an independent inquiry into the matter
that corroborated 3 of the 6 claims against him.
The girl lost her job. Okay, so in my case, that you were such a schmuck, you were such a less than man kind of a guy, that you caused a woman to lose her job because you didn't get what you want. That's lowest of the low. You know what I mean? That's what really made me change my whole thinking about it. Like somehow, some way, the management, you have to point a finger at them a bit, because they let this girl go based on keeping the highest paid quarterback in the CFL, because money changes everything. So I think that this is a little bit of a stain on Pinball Clemens and the general manager and their crew too. And I think the only reason that they let him out 9 games is to show the public some kind of, okay, we had a private inquiry and we're going to do this because he was a bad boy. Well, maybe 9 games, we don't know what your record's going to be, what your attendance going to be. What's more importantly is this woman got disrespected on next level shit. That's not fair. Can you hire her back? Is she going to get some money? Is there going to be compensation?
I don't think she's going to get hired back, but she should. I hope she gets paid.
I hope something should go along here. You know what I mean? And it does be what she dated another Argo. Is this TMZ? Stop it. She can do whatever she wants in her life. If a man,
well, he accused her of that, but that doesn't look like to be true. Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean, buddy? You're just used. You're spoiled, rotten. I'm Jim Kelly's nephew. Bullshit. And I shouldn't say that because I love Jim Kelly. But I mean, you check his trail from where he was like.
Well, I don't think that's disrespect on Jim Kelly. That's disrespect on him for using it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and coming out of high school, this guy's been pampered. And that's why we know he moved from school to school. Maybe, we don't know. But in any event, I hope someday, somehow, that we hear that this girl did get the leprechaun coming up the driveway on a unicorn, and she gets paid back because this guy, I'm not saying I defended him. I just said, let's put all the cards on the table and see what we see. Well, now we see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he never plays football in Toronto ever again, that wouldn't bother me. You know, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to go that far. But
I don't think it'll be because he's a quarterback. They paid him $250,000
Mind
a
you,
year.
if his replacement, like, steps up and, like, plays just as good as him.
He's got guaranteed money, though. That money's guaranteed.
Another team might take that.
Yeah, okay. I hope it's one of those USFL, XFL league teams. Because that's where the next step is after that, right? If you're going to be playing. And he is 30 years old.
Yeah. And
he can't play forever. So he should be thankful that he got this opportunity here in Toronto to make this kind of money and shut the front door and be polite. 9 games, you know, but I mean, he has to go through the protocol too, right? Which I think is a bunch of bullshit. We'll never know. Never know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a slap on the hand.
Yes. Whatever.
My line before, I don't remember if I said this on the show, but if 30% of the story was true, Chad Kelly is a spoiled brat. Well, 50% of it was true, so what does that make him?
Scumbag. Sorry. I'm even like, in the future when we have these stories, I'll still sit in this side of the fence where I'll say, let's put all the cards on the table. But once they are out there for everyone to see, this Kelly, you are no longer not really, you're going to have to do a lot to be welcome to the house that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Shame.
Yes.
Big shame. So. Speaking of shame, we'll move this to the MLB and our Toronto Blue Jays.
Did you have to say shame and Blue Jays at the same time? It is.
Bro, look at the standings.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm trying to, you know what? I have an interesting thing because I never did this when you were younger, but I've heard it more.
We're fourth last in the American League.
Okay, wait. We're just trying to get something here where we hope that Cinco de Mayo is not a date that lives with the pain and suffering of the Toronto fan base, not the Leaf, because I can give a shit about that stuff. But we have the Toronto Blue Jays, and we have a whole summer to get through, and it is now past Cinco de Mayo, and at least Vladdy's hitting 250.
At least
250. Okay, now you know what's
he's at least
pathetic?
hitting 250.
Our RBI leader, Justin Turner, 16 RBIs. That wouldn't even, you know what's a league leader? 40 now? You should have somebody with 20. You know what? It's brutal, okay? Do we have anybody?
RBI in the American League, Jose Ramirez leads with 33.
Oh, 33. Okay.
And Juan Soto.
Yeah, okay, but still, and we don't have a guy. We got a guy with 16.
Yeah, half that, not even.
You know what I mean? And Vladdy's got a couple this week, so he's moved it on. Here's the scary part, buddy, and you know what we've been saying. Our Sparky Anderson, God bless you, Sparky, wherever you are. Hope you and Billy Martin are playing cards together with Casey Stengel. That would be really cool. In any event, we said it's always you got to win 20 before you lose 20. Then we can start to assess where we are for the season, for the rest of the season, right?
Yep.
Well, we've lost 21, bro.
And we have 17 wins.
We have 17 wins. And who are we playing today?
Minnesota, who we lost to last night.
Who have won, 15 of their last 16, I believe?
An insane winning streak here. Or not a win streak, but insane string of games.
They're 8-2 in their last 10. Okay, but I think what it is they're 14 of their last 16 or something ridiculous like that.
But 23-15 record.
Oh, and now they are just half a game out of the American League Central, which we asked is fraudulent a couple of weeks ago. Well, we're now 1/4 of the way through the season. You can't call that fraudulent with my beloved Detroit Tigers sitting at 500 and sitting in 4th place, who we predicted maybe could win the division.
Not what we expected from the American League Central. It's
no,
the
not
brand
at all.
spanking new Central, with the exception of the White Sox.
Oh, well, that's just a whole nother story. And that's why I think that we should balance the schedule, even though you have a shitty team more than other teams. I wish we didn't play the National League so much. I wish we played more division games.
I wish they,
Yeah, I wish the schedule. We will discuss that forever in the house. But Baltimore is going to run away with the division. Okay, right?
I don't know. Yankees are only half a game behind.
Yankees, give me some time. I'm telling you, by the All-Star break, I'm predicting Baltimore will be up by at least 5. I'll start with 5.
5? Okay.
Over under 5, they'll be up by 5. I say maybe more. Have you seen the Yankees pitching staff? Its starting pitching staff is not even as good as Toronto's. However, their bullpen is infinitely better because they got one of the top ERAs in the league. They're top 5 in the ERA.
I mean, their starters are getting it done, though.
Oh, yeah, just as good. So are our starters getting it done?
I don't know. All 5 of their starters have an ERA under 4.
Okay, so I think ours are just about there if it wasn't for except that bad Manoa start and a couple of Gosmans. But look, I'm coming down the stretch, okay? How many
about
innings pitched?
Bassett?
Bassett, he had a good one last time. I told you, listen, I don't want to jinx that
Yeah, but
guy.
how's his ERA?
4?
5.
Is it 5? Okay, so I hate to say this, but I was the one that was calling out Bassett before the season started. Sometimes these guys are going to regress. Exhibit A. Now, I was looking for a 2% increase in everybody's production from last year. The only guy that's giving me that is Danny Jansen.
Yeah.
And our guy with the 3 names.
Yeah, kind of Falefa.
Yeah, and we need him on the field.
Got a home run last night, shockingly.
Okay, so now what ends up happening? We got a 1-1 game. We let Kikuchi go 7, just so we got a shot at the win. And what happens as soon as we bring in the bullpen? 3 runs. 3 runs. What was the final score? 4-1, 4-2? I don't even know. I turned it off. I was pissed.
It was 3-2.
Or 3-2, yeah. But they got the 2 runs late. You know what I mean? The bullpen gave him up, not Kikuchi, who, again, pitched 6 innings every start. So our starters are not getting it
He's
done.
been great. He's been great.
Barrios has his one bump in the road this week, and look what happens. Okay, so what? All pitchers are going to have those.
Sure.
But basically, what? He's top 10 in innings pitched, I think, if
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
better. And Bassett is not going to be our 200-inning eating pitcher again because he has too many schmuck nights. As far as I'm concerned. Last game he pitched well. He's just weird, bro. Do you ever see when he's out there? If something goes wrong, or if someone drops a ball, or a fan yells out, your hair's out of place, the guy just goes off the rails. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Can I trust him? I don't know. What I'm hoping is this. Manoa comes out and strikes out 7 and gives us 5 innings and gets the hell away.
On Sunday?
On Sunday.
Tomorrow,
so that our bullpen can go out
We got
and get
Gosman
shot
on the
again.
mound today, but he's going up against Woods Richardson, who has a tremendous record.
Yes,
So.
that's what I'm saying. So, but we're in the dome, aren't we?
We are.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a
Are
shot
they going to
there.
start opening the dome, by the way? Every game I catch on TV, it's closed, even though it's nice weather.
It's something about the ball carrying that they're worried about.
Oh, my God.
It is. It comes down to that. They're not going to say it. But right now, when the dome opens, the ball carries better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see our bullpen? Keep the dome closed. Don't be stupid. Come on.
Summer's right around the corner.
Well,
Something's
they're
got to
going to have to
give.
do it. But don't you know, that's the word. We all know for years, when the dome is open, the ball flies, right?
Oh, I remember 2015.
Okay, there you go. So now, why are we going to open the dome with this?
Well, aren't we supposed to have guys that can crush the ball, too?
Which guys?
Okay, they're supposed to. What's
Allegedly.
Springer still hitting leadoff? I don't know. You know what's bad?
When Schneider is hitting leadoff and Varsho's hitting number 2. That's when I said, oh, what's the date? Oh, we're past Cinco de Mayo. This is not good. You know, that'll be the name of the show, when we pass Cinco de Mayo. Did you see it, though? Come on. I look at the lineup, and you know what? Vladdy is hitting better. In the last bunch of games, okay? But he's still swinging that bad pitch. I don't know what
Bo and Springer, though, are still...
just brutal.
I don't get why it just seems to be like all on like Bo and Vlad when like Springer... Like, why is a Springer get a free pass here?
Well, notice he's been moved out of leadoff spot lately.
About time.
Because
you know it was bad when Jeff Merrick brings it up on his show.
Oh, God. He even said something. What does Merrick know about this shit?
He's a Blue Jays fan.
Oh, no, I know that. But I know more than him about
But he
baseball.
brought it up like on, I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, probably Thursday show. He brought it up like 3-4 times. He's like, what's he still doing there? What's he still doing there?
Okay, so let's go back 3 shows on the house that happens when we were talking about the real problem is the top 3 guys in our batting order don't even have 30, didn't have 30 RBIs.
Yep.
And that's just what, like a couple shows ago?
Yeah.
Like people come and listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We're looking at the same thing as them, which is another thing I'd like to bash about the Toronto media because they're one of the reasons that the Leafs always lose too. But we'll get to that later. Okay.
I don't realize that the media puts on the jerseys.
Okay, I'm not saying that, but let's put it this way: some players adhere to their environment better than others. Is that a correct way of saying?
That seems like a them problem.
Then they usually get out of town.
Hire a better therapist.
I have a dog.
That works too. Therapy dogs.
Oh,
That's
by
a thing.
the way, we never shouted out that Stanley's part of the program.
Yes,
again.
he is.
But-
Shout out Stanley. He's our version of Lenny.
Yes, okay.
From the
okay.
Mina Kime show.
Yes, okay. Mina would love us for that. In any event, he quit biting you. He quit biting me.
About time.
And he's like, okay, we should shut up because he'll be back here bugging us in a minute. But anyways, yeah, what we were really getting at is the fact that the batting order is weird. I think we got some guys that can hit, and I think the season can be salvaged if we just tighten up a little bit in the bullpen and adjust the the batting order according to maybe who we're pitching against. Because remember this, and I'm going to say this to you, BOH, playing on our ball team, and make sure you catch fly balls, buddy, when you're in left field. You were talking about Varsho and what he was showing for about 10 minutes. He was the top WAR.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes. Where is he now? He's right back to being Varsho. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen him number 2 in the lineup, even though it was against a right-hander, against a lefty, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. Varsho should not be a number 2 hitter. At best, if we had a good
Middle
team,
of the lineup guy.
I'd even put him farther
5.
down. Let him 7th. I don't want him at 5. Put him 6. I'll put him at 6th. You know what I mean? Because he might.
I mean, the way it's
up.
going now, we kind of need him at the number 5 slot. He's in. If he keeps crushing the ball.
What has he crushed in the last 10 days? He had a little run there. What's he done lately?
You don't think
You know what
going
Janet
another
Jackson
run?
said? When? What we need it now. Is that the same time as Springer, and then we'll get 20 runs in 6 games and then nothing for a month? Come on, man. This is the problem. Do you see him last night? Twice we had men at second and third with less than 2 outs. What did we score? Usham 0-0. First of all, Kiermaier come up to the plate so that who comes up after Kiermaier? The other team. Okay, you know that. Every key comes up. Who comes up? Yes, I said it. Who comes up after Kiermaier? The other team. Okay, so who else flubbed one there? And here's what's even worse. Our guy with 3 names is 2 for 2, and Vladdy's 2 for 2. Now they're coming up in the crucial situations. So guess what? Analytics kept up to them. They didn't get a hit because they're only hitting 2 for 3 anyway for the rest of the season. So they didn't even get a hit when we needed guys on. But that's pathetic. When we got men on second and third, less than 2 outs, and we can't score a run. We got 1 run here or there, and the bullpen didn't, which wasn't too bad last night, but they gave up a run. That could have been difference in the game winning last night. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's what's killing us. 17-21, and what's the date today? May 11th. This is ugly.
Very
this is ugly because I'm telling you right now. Let's
dead
get back.
last in the American League East.
Dead last, which is
with 8.5 games back, and then in the wild card, we are currently 6 games
okay.
back.
I don't worry about that. I go to Sparky Anderson School again. Last time I checked, I see 9 games in the loss column. Okay, so now when we even talk about getting into a wild card position, once again, let's get back to our friends in the American League Central. Who we discussed, were they fraudulent? They don't look too fraudulent,
Probably not.
okay? So now, we even with our beloved Detroit Tigers at 19-19 are going to take a swing at one of those wild card positions. Oh, look at that. We still have 2 games in the loss column on them. And they're not even close to the wild card, so to speak. Oh, and by the way, we have the Oakland Athletics, who are now what? Percentage better than us? What is their winning percentage? 450. Ours is, we're 447. That's Oakland, who are going to Sacramento. We are
Oakland's better than us.
That's what I'm getting at. So if we're talking about, who's talking about Oakland trying to get a wild card?
Nobody.
Okay, and we're the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're saying,
Blue
who we
Jays.
got? I mean, I'm Toronto. Well, see, it's a disease of the city, I believe. How you doing, Raptors? Anyways, that's just another story. We got to do a
Raptors
lot.
are the only team to have won anything in the last few years.
And I'll give them better. And I'm telling you right now, I'll be surprised team in the NBA next year, but that's way down the road. What I'm looking at, one again, is when we're going to talk about what's going on in the American League. And now we're 40 games in, so we got a reasonable sample size. We can't be saying any more about, how does it look? That's 1/4 of the season, basically, isn't it, bro? Well, that's 1/4. Okay, so we're looking at where we are in stats and ERA. One of the worst in the league, if not the bullpen is worse. Okay, I know that. Our starting pitching is okay, but better than most, as long as we can find a 5th guy, which I hope is going to be Manoah. And just
Hopefully.
as we said that, Stanley makes an appearance. In any event, look at how many teams we're going to have to chase now. Dead last in the American League East. So that's 4 teams in front of us right there. Last time I checked, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Kansas City are well above 500. Well above. We got 6 or 7 games in the loss column on these teams. So unless we can break 500 by at least June 1st, let's start baby steps.
Sure.
This is May 10th?
11th.
11th. Okay, so a little less than half the month to go. I'm going to start with the house that happens. Let's look for baby steps. Can we be 500 by June 1st?
Let's hope.
That's what we're praying for, and a win
Tough
today.
schedule. Minnesota this weekend. We got Baltimore Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
In Baltimore, right?
I believe so.
Because I think what I'm going to do is when
In Baltimore, yep.
when Baltimore comes to town, I'm going to every game, whatever that series is. I'm planning on going. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring my tablet, and I'm going to spend those $5 senior seats. Like when are they? I got to look up the schedule. When is Baltimore playing? I got the book right here, don't I? I don't know. When Baltimore comes to town, I think I'm going to go to all 3 games because I've never done that in my life.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and you know what it is? I can go and get like those $15 tickets or whatever. I don't know, and go stand in one of those bars.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure, why not?
That's what you're allowed to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you get a 500 ticket, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to go down to wherever the bars are.
You're just allowed to hang out there.
You can go down and hang out there, right? So on a Tuesday night, Baltimore, which people won't be smart enough to be wanting that ticket anyway. Actually, it would be better if they played on the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know what the schedule's like. I'd have to see.
I'm going to look at it. I got the schedule right here. Where's the book? Wait 1 second. Nah, we'll keep on going. Just waste time. But anyways, my point is this. Toronto Blue Jays, please try to get to 500 by June 1st or the season's a wash. Too many teams ahead of us. Too many games in the loss column. We don't hit with runners in scoring position. Our defense is the only thing, and we're still only in the middle of the pack with that. If we had top 10 D, I'd be jumping around.
Yeah.
I think our starters numbers, for the most part, are just outside of the top 10, but our bullpen's the worst in the majors.
Our bullpen's results suck. How about that?
That's what we're trying to get at. Their performance sucks because they got some nice guys. What are we going to do with Swanson?
I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
That's
he's been terrible.
That's Teoscar Hernandez. Every time you see Hernandez rock one out there for the Dodgers, he's
last
having a
season
great
it looked pretty good.
What's that?
Last season it looked pretty good. That trade.
Yeah, it did because I thought it was about even. But what happened to the guy's arm? He can't get nobody out. They don't even bring him in high leverage situations anymore.
He was supposed to be our setup guy.
You got it. Now he isn't, and I don't know. I think they're managing the bullpen properly. Guys pitch 2 days, they don't. Then a guy comes out, it's his bad day, he gets rocked. Like, I think we got decent arms.
Sure.
You know, Meza, or whatever his name is. Meza, Garcia.
Jimmy Garcia.
What?
He makes me nervous.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the year, he looked like lights out. We lost the green guy. Romano is the guy that makes me nervous every time he comes out. Who am I missing?
I mean, Garcia's been pretty good this year, though. I will give him credit. Very good.
Yeah, and that Rodriguez guy's been okay.
Yep.
And who am I missing? I'm missing one more clown. Oh, that scares me. Oh, Pearson. I don't know what we're going to get for him. And Richards, isn't he gone to the minors?
Yeah, I believe so.
You know what I mean?
Cabrera hasn't been good.
Oh, he looked okay, but now what's he done lately?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of them got ERAs that are freaking wrong side of 5. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We just got to do something. And like, I'm not feeling sorry for the teams like Houston and Los Angeles, who are big money teams that are having the same issues as Toronto when you think about it.
The Angels, you mean?
The Angels, yeah. Like, we're 4 games under 500. They're 6. That could change in a week. You know, or 10. That could change in a week. We go on a 4-game winning streak. They go on a 4-game losing streak. Whatever. Back or forth. So what we got to do is
Houston and the Angels, though, like their seasons are on the edge of being over already.
Oh, exactly. That's all about the June 1st because, you know, once you get to June 1st, then you start smelling All-Star break. You know, not that we're trying to race time into the future, but that's what I'm talking about with the Jays. That makes me nervous. If we're not 500 by June 1st, I'm not going to be happy.
We're talking rebuild.
Yeah, like, you know what? We'll be sellers. The question we'll be starting to talk about on the show is...
how much of it we're going to blow up.
It's not going to be. Speaking of blow up, we'll be talking about that. We'll be coming back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe this is the blow up show.
Maybe. The blow up show. Blow some shit up.
I don't know how we did this, but I might just do this. We should give a Raptor shout out because you know what? We did not plan it that way. We do not have stylists, nor do we have what do you call it, stylists or hair people. But Mr. Milani and I both wore Raptors gear with purple in it.
Yes, the classic.
Yes, we are wearing classic purple today. You know, shout out to
the best Raptors aesthetic.
Oh, I agree there. Did you hear me, son? Matty Johnny in his shirt. But yeah, I just realized that. We're in the purple look.
Yep.
It was pretty cool. Yep. Now, I was down at, where were we?
Well, I'm repping a couple Toronto teams. It was very deliberate on my part.
When I think we went down to the show last week in Kansas, this girl, we were going in the subway, and she had a Raptor hat, or her dad had a Raptor hat, which had purple and on a red motif. It looked just next level crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen one like that. And I said, that's a cool looking hat. And then he says, yeah, my daughter bought it with the thing. He goes, I don't know, these colors were good. Hey, Stanley. Oh, now we got Stanley issues. Okay. Stanley, no, if you could see what's going on right now. Okay, we're going to...
He's a little bit rowdy, as it were.
Yes, he is. Okay, I'm going to open the door right here. You just keep talking for a second because we got to go, Stanley.
So are we keeping it on baseball, or should I set things up for basketball?
Oh, we should move it on. We saying Toronto Blue Jays, 500 by June 1st, please?
Also, Blue Jays signing Aaron Sanchez back to a minor league deal, so we'll keep an eye on that. Him and Joey Votto now in the minor league system. So, just a couple technical difficulties here.
Okay, we're over those.
And we will move this over to the NBA right now. So,
okay, quick before my dog caused trouble. The Sanchez story could have a weird, wouldn't that be kind of weird but cool?
Oh, 100%.
That would just be so cool. Only reason I had to pause there because Stanley is interrupting the show, but we'll get back to it. Now slide on to what we were saying, the
NBA. So let's get started with Patrick Beverley suspended 4 games for being a moron after his team got eliminated.
Okay, so that shtick's been going on all year. You know that, right?
With Pat Bev?
Yeah, he's been doing it all year, everywhere he goes. I just think he pushed it a little bit too hard because there's something about Beverly I like. I don't know what it is. This guy is...
Well, he's an animal on defense.
Yes, and he's a bit of a gangster, but that appeals to me. It's the fact that he's a in-the-moment, bottom-line guy. Like, he cuts to the chase immediately, no matter what the situation is. Look when he pulled out the camera last year.
Yeah.
For the thing, like I'm saying. So he's getting a little bit more overblown. I think the dramatics are to draw attention to his pod so he can make more money when he leaves the game. Because he is 35 years old. So there has to be that element to some of the shenanigans that the guy goes on. However, as a player, every team he's gone to, he's improved. Now, they don't say he's a bad dressing room guy, but they don't say he's a great dressing room guy. So, I don't know.
Net neutral.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I think that he was a little harsh to the girl, though. We don't need to see that, especially with kids watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was not nice.
No, but and after I knew what he's been doing it all year, you understood it was his little take on things. But he took that take a little bit too far.
Yeah, if you don't know, he said to her, like, I'm not answering your question because you don't subscribe to my podcast. Or like, there's another thing too.
And but he had that on. He had the hat on.
Yeah.
That said subscribe. And then if you check every show he's been on, there's a whole litany of this going on for the whole basketball season. He's been using it. It's just that he did it at this time after a loss to Milwaukee, which was we didn't feel sorry for because you didn't have your star players. Everybody was hurt. You go home.
Yep.
It's that simple. You know what I mean? Before we continue about giving Nick Beverly, Pat Beverly more time, I usually say that the playoffs are better the first round, and as you get into the second round, you say it builds up in the NBA, and I always say, well, the NHL is a little bit better. What do you think is so far? What has been the better games? I'm thinking now that we're getting into the second round, it's getting to about 50-50, the quality of games from one playoff to the other. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I think so too. NHL, NBA, they've both been very exciting here the second round.
Yeah, was it
NBA, it's definitely been better this round than the first.
Okay, but here's what happened on the one night, which is really, really insane when you think about it, and I said, how do we look about it? The 2 NBA games that were on were blowouts, and both NHL games went to overtime on the same night. That's when you give. Where do you give credence to what?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But that could happen too because then...
We've seen some blowouts in the second round for hockey, though, too.
I was just getting ready to say the first game of the Boston series and the second
and game
series,
2.
There you go. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So I think the quality of the games have been better. I don't know where we're going to start in the playoffs, but I think we should start right off with the game that went on last night.
Well, I want to say we should do a little bit of a cleanup with Cleveland-Orlando, Game 7.
Oh, yes.
I called it Cleveland in 7.
Yes.
I did cash out, though, so I didn't get the full one for that, but whatever. I'll just take the cash.
You took your cash.
Yeah, I took the cash out.
Okay, that's good. That was a good move. That was an interesting series. That was very interesting, and it was basically, like I said, that's why you have Game 7 at home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't think Orlando's going to go anywhere. I think Orlando's going to be back in the mix next year. Toronto Raptors, look at all the teams. You're going to have to jump to make the playoffs. Orlando's going nowhere. They're young. They're I call them OKC light.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about it, you know what I mean? But Cleveland has gone on, and they have now won one game against the Boston Celtics, who are the most pathetic team of this playoffs. Can I say that honestly? Who are you guys?
Is this so? Okay, so they lose Game 2 to Cleveland, kind of like how they lost Game 2 to Miami. Is this a repeat in your mind, like just kind of a nothing to worry about situation, or
if they lose to Cleveland, they blow the team up. Everyone's got to go. It'd be worse.
But are you worried for them? Like,
no, I think they can still do it. It's just what happens is this, and I rail against this all the time. It's this goddamn 3-point shot bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? You take too many. If you make a miss, we'll get back to it. Because you know what? They can walk into Cleveland. What is it today? This afternoon or tonight? And win by 20. Because that's how the swings have been in the NBA.
Yep.
But I'm just seeing like Boston. But I will say this. Porzingis is a bit of a problem because he can't draw Mobley away from the bucket. So inside Mobley.
Is he going to be back for Game 3?
Mobley is playing. It's
no,
Jared Allen.
Porzingis, I'm saying.
No, he might going to miss the rest. He's not going to play in this series. It's looking. You know what I mean? And some say he might not play for the rest of the year.
Oof, that's a huge blow to Boston.
Yeah, but because he just brings up the defense. But what I'm saying is that Boston's big enough and strong enough to go in the paint. Last time I look, Jason Tatum plays on that team.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown plays on that team. Yeah. That Wright dude plays on there. Drew Holiday plays on that team. Al Horford plays on that team. Go to the paint, guys. And if you don't believe me, just check what happened last night in the Minnesota-Denver game. What did the Denver guys do?
Went to the paint.
And guess what happened? But anyways, to get back to it, I think the Cleveland, I'm glad you won some money for starters.
Thank you.
I think Cleveland's a player away. I think if Jared Allen was playing all the time, this would make a difference, especially that Boston didn't have Porzingis. But I think in the long run, if this series ends in 6, I won't be surprised. If it ends in 5, I won't be surprised.
But now we're going back to Cleveland. So if Cleveland can take care of home court a little bit, even split the games there, that's going to make this series a lot more interesting.
I hope it does, because if Boston loses, you know how I feel about the Celtics anyway, the same way I feel about the Bruins. You know what I mean? Because
same way we feel about the Red Sox.
There you go. It's a whole calamity over there. The bottom line is, like I'm saying, a team of this level, of this good, should just goddamn well. They are the prohibitive favorites to go to the finals.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, you look who
since the beginning of the year.
There you go, and now here they are, and they're just dicking around. It seems like it was a tortoise and a hare game too. That's a bit about what happened there, which I've seen a couple of times in these playoffs that go down, and you can't do that. It should be all business all the time. You know what I'm saying? But
sure.
But in any event, it just goes to show you. Well, we don't want to move on. We're going to stay in the East for a second.
Yep.
We have Indiana and the New York Knicks. What do you think about that series?
It's going pretty much the way I thought it would.
I'm going this much. I think that the New York Knicks are they run on, I don't know, butane, propane, something, because look at this team last night, and Indiana had to scrap and battle to beat them on their home court last night. No Julius Randle.
No OG.
No Mitchell Robinson. That's come on, you know what I'm saying? And they took Indiana there. I think what's going to happen.
What, a 5-point game?
Yeah, and it was the first game where they scored less than 110 points because Indiana's just going to run. Can they run with you? The difference being is that Indiana's running with 9 or 10 in a rotation. The Knicks are playing top 7 guys all the time, which is a Thibodeau thing. Run the guys into the ground. Do you know Josh Hart sat down for the first time in the series last night in the third quarter?
Holy shit.
Guys played every minute of the series until a couple of minutes off, which is unbelievable. But I mean, that's how valuable it is. That's how short their bench is. And I'm saying the Knicks and Jalen Brunson, you know what? As great as he's playing and stuff like that, can I just say one thing? Brunson, you got to move the ball around at the end of the game. You know what I mean? And he did that last night against Indiana.
Yeah, stop playing some hero ball.
Yeah, you got to stop playing. It can't be isolation all the time when it gets down to it. We know you're Jalen Brunson. We know you're great. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to move the ball at the last second. You know what I mean? A couple times, it faltered against Philadelphia, but they're beyond them. But at that time, and the guy's going to burn himself out. You know what I mean? He's got the banged up hand. He hits the floor all the time.
Kind of the opposite of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
He was just smooth. We'll get to him in a minute. But the thing about Brunson is, I'm just saying the wear down. Once again, when we are recording from the Cruz's chaos, what would you call this? Like my own bat cave, even though Gail's not around. My dog interrupted
you do have
the
a
show.
Batman up there.
We do? Oh, yeah. He flies around. I can turn him and he buzzes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it does. I should turn him on for you. But yeah, said the kids used to make my other dog go nuts. You turn around, it just flies in a circle. It's Batman. But in any event, let's get back to our original premise, which we were talking about the greatness of the NBA. Yes and no, in the fact that
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, are we going to burn the guy? Nick's going to burn the guy out.
Well, if he gets some of his supporting cast back soon, that shouldn't be as much of an issue.
Well, I don't know if Anobi's going to be. He's a game time decision for the next game. I don't know what's the problem with Mitchell Robinson, and we're not seeing Randall for the rest of the year.
No, he's done.
And when I look at it, Indiana's running like 12 or 10 deep, and they got Miles Turner in the middle. Who
10 deep seems a little bit much for the playoffs, though.
9 deep. It is.
Okay, that's a good playoff rotation.
But and they're all runners, and they've been running all year. The Knicks play at the slowest pace in the NBA, so something's got to give. And it was the first game when they were under 110, which is way high for the Knicks and a Thibodeau team.
Yeah.
The first two games are like 121, 117, 120, whatever. But last night's game was or whatever it was a lot closer. 109, 105.
It was like 110. I think 111, 106 was the final.
Yeah, something like that. So in any event, I'm saying that I hope for basketball, I'm cheering for the Knicks because the Knicks are kind of like the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NBA, so to speak. So I'm just hoping it for what is it? The history of the game, the Mecca basketball, blah 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 blah. It's good to have the New York Knicks in there, but I think they're in deep, and this series could be, you know what I mean?
I think they're going to take the next game in Indiana. That's my prediction. I think they go up 3-1. It's gonna be all good for the blue and orange.
I'm gonna be a fence sitter, which I don't normally do, but I think that unless because you know what's happening too is they don't have enough shooting. I think DiVincenzo, is he gonna score 35 again?
Probably not.
There you go. But all those guys on Indiana are gonna have their average scores again. That's what I'm starting to look at it from that point of view. But we'll see. I'm saying, great for the Knicks.
Great for the Knicks.
Great for the Knicks. Which brings us now. We can go to the West, which I think these two series are probably far more intriguing for a variety of reasons.
Absolutely.
One of them being is if we're going to talk about our Canadian boy SGA. That guy is unbelievable. I like Michael Wilbon, who openly stated that if you don't think that this guy was an MVP, you shouldn't be watching the game. I loved it. You know what I mean? However, he's got a little problem running here with this team from Dallas. And just think about this. Kyrie Irving only scored 9 points the other night.
And they still won.
That was a battle under the boards. I think it was more that Shea's supporting cast did not have their best nights. He was fine. What more could the guy do?
Yeah, him and Jalen Williams, the only guys with 20 points or more.
The rest of the guys, bad shooting. The defense was lax at time. But what's really, really fascinating is Kyrie and Luka are buying into this whole defense thing.
And we're heading back to Dallas for games 3 and 4.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Now, I still believe Luka's questionable for game 3. And he looked a little slow. Yeah, he's going to play. But, I mean, what happens is I think that's what's going to – he better be – I hope he's getting some therapy or something because he is playing a defense where he's leaning on guys at all time. He's putting pressure on them in a size way because Luka is a big boy. We've discussed this already. So he can get down low and keep doing it. He's going to have to do that and slow the game down because once OKC gets running – that's where they have the advantage to me.
Yep.
And if they shoot a little better, they just had some bad shooting games. I wouldn't be surprised if they go into Dallas and win. But it was a great game, too. Did you get to see it?
Absolutely.
It was just a great, great, great game. I'm hoping more of them are like that. And what are you still saying? I'm still saying OKC's. I'm
sticking by Dallas.
Don't I have Dallas by 7? I think I picked the Mavs in 7, didn't I? Let me check it here. Yes, I have Mavs in 7 over OKC. Am I like what I should tell the truth? Am I just as confident as I was yesterday? Nah. If Luke is banged
after
up,
game 1, especially too.
Yeah, but no, they had a nice comeback. But we're going to be playing this afternoon at 3:30. I'm going to definitely have my my PVR going because I'll be running around. Which brings us to the other series, which is
wild.
Is it
wild?
Can we just take let's just take a look at what went on here, okay, people? You had a team which everybody is yelling about, and I am too, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I still think that they're the real deal. No matter what, I seriously believe they're the real deal.
Win or lose this series.
What happened last night is every once in a while that is a team of championship metal Yes, they are. And what happened was Jamal Murray had a little bit of a bump in the road last couple of games, and he came out
especially
night.
game 2.
Yes, and they circled.
Maybe should have been suspended.
Yeah, but they can't suspend him for that. Not in the playoffs. If this was a regular season, he would have been
100%.
He would have, and he's not known for a guy like that. If he ever does something like that again, though, he'll be. You know what I mean? They suspended Draymond in the green. Well, that was because of technical fouls.
Sure.
Correct. But Jamal's not even in that league yet. However, what really impressed me is how Denver just walked into Minnesota and said, fuck you. We're the champions of this league. Here we go.
After finding themselves in a big 2-0 hole, blowing both home games.
Kind of remind me of the Stars in their series when they started off like that against Vegas. You went, holy cow, what's going on here? So
yeah, they lose. The game 1 was a tight one, lost by 7. Game 2, they got blown out of their own building, losing by 26.
Yeah.
And then they win by 27 in game 3 in Minnesota.
It absolutely amazed me that, not amazed me, I'm just saying that what makes a championship medal team, that you're down 0-2, you're going into the enemy den, and not only win, but to blow them out. What does that do to the psyche of Minnesota? Now we're going to see what Minnesota's made out of.
I predict game 4, Denver's going to win it, but it's going to be a lot tighter, like a 2 or 3 possession game.
I really believe, no, it won't be that way again. They won't get out of hand because one of the things that the coach is going to have to tell them is, here's why Minnesota got into trouble. They tried to, my same theory I say every time, every show, what? You get behind, you start firing threes too early in the clock to try to catch up, and then the other team runs in transition. You got to remember, Denver, that front 4 of Denver, they got Michael Porter Jr. They got Aaron Gordon. They got the Mavs have Hardaway. Who's the other guy on that starts on them? Gordon. Oh, Caldwell Pope. KCP, another guy that can shoot. And then they have that Watson guy. They got a Holiday coming off. Oh, they've got a benched Reggie Jackson. They're all coming off. You know what I mean? And these guys are all run guys. So when you look at it, let's go to good old OKC and see how things went. Oh, the starters went what? Horrible. Okay, Anthony Edwards, he only shot, he was
Minnesota, not OKC.
Minnesota. Connolly, 1 for 5. Anthony Edwards, 3 for 8. The other guys didn't even make one. Karl Anthony Towns got his usual 4 for 5. That guy can shoot threes, but not doing it. But even when the guys were coming off the bench and firing, nobody made a 3. 0 for 3, 0 for 3, 0 for 4. And when you do that when you're trying to come from behind, I think they should have tried to stay in the paint, even though Denver's defense was even tougher in the paint.
Sure.
So it was an all-around turnaround. Is that how you look at it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so bizarre. I'm looking forward to games when they play again tomorrow, correct?
Yes, they do.
But I'd be looking forward to the games this afternoon. We got 2. What are the games we have today?
Dallas OKC's in the afternoon, and then Boston Cleveland is at 8:30.
I'm not really Boston Cleveland. I probably have halftime and Boston's winning by 15. You won't there, but I'll be looking at PVR in this afternoon's game. But like we said, the playoffs been pretty damn good. You know what I mean? I'm saying I've already made my picks. Like I've already saying I've got the Nuggets, I got the Mavs, I got the Celtics, I got the Knicks. The only one that I'm confident with really right now is the Celtics.
Yep.
That's the only one because I've watched enough games to go, well, you know what? And I was just getting cocky with the Mavs, like when I got cocky with the Lakers in the first round. You know what I mean? Trying to think that I'm some kind of mock draft genius or some shit. And what does that get you? Loser? We'll see.
Anything else for basketball?
No, I just wanted to... No, I think there was one other thing I wanted to bring up about too, and I can't remember, so let's just go on.
Okay, we will move it on from the NBA playoffs to the Stanley Cup playoffs, but before we'll do a little bit of house cleaning. Rick Bowness announces his retirement, so great career for him. Might be moving into media, if you ask some people.
He's got that personality.
Yep.
Will he come to every game in his vet?
I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's cool, that whole vet thing.
Yeah, but I think it's good for him to retire. I know there was obviously some health issues with him and his wife, so spending some more time with your family is never a bad thing.
And how old is he now? He's pushing 70, isn't he?
Yeah.
And not only that, he's been coaching how many years?
Since the 80s.
That's a long time. I think is it 30 years under his belt?
More than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it? So he's a 33 season guy or something, but he had some seasons off or something. Didn't
Sure. But and he was, I think a lot of those he spent as an assistant too. He's actually credited with basically turning Victor Hedman into the guy he is today, basically.
Agreed.
Because before that, apparently Victor Hedman had a distrust, let's just say, for coaches, and then Bonus was finally the guy that was able to break through to him.
Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes, remember when Hedman came in the league? He looked like the F1 car that wasn't freaking tuned properly. That's all it was, but that's another story for another time. God bless him, and I hope he has a great retirement and great health to him and all the people in his family.
Absolutely. The NHL draft lottery also took place this week. San Jose and Chicago stay at number 1, number 2. This was the first time where they had to do multiple draws because San Jose, their ball just kept popping up, which I find funny. They never had to do a redraw before, and they had to do 2 redraws this year, which I thought was kind of funny.
Vegas, fixed.
But they already won. How's that fixed?
I don't know. That's weird shit, don't you think?
It's a lottery balls. Like, they could just...
This is a professional operation. Why do you think they don't have lottery balls on Saturday night to show you the draw for $6.49 anymore?
There's some debate about the NHL doing it, but I think, like... It's just like a boring process. And it's just to be like, they'll like bring up like 3 of the balls, and then the last one they're going to take a commercial break. Like,
oh, you know, it's always drama.
We don't need to see that.
The only drama I want is when I hear it in music. That's all. And the sweet moves. I think it's bullshit. And where did my beloved Habs end
They
up?
stay at number 5.
Yes. So I think it looked pretty status quo as far as I was concerned. You know what I mean? Which I'm going to say maybe we should go back to who gives a shit. Let's go back to the NFL. You're the worst team, you get number 1.
Yeah, but then tanking becomes an issue. It's happened before in hockey.
I don't know. I know what they say in the NBA, but you can quietly tank any way you want anyway.
Yeah, but at least this prevents you from just stealing the first round pick by just being bad. I think that's a bad look for the league. So I'm pro lottery.
Okay. I don't know if I am. Okay.
Yeah, well, whatever. Right. We can debate that later. Leafs are now locked in at the 23rd pick for the draft. They cannot move up, cannot move down.
Okay.
Hockey Canada World Championship started yesterday. Canada got a 4-2 win.
It was this morning, wasn't it?
Or this morning, excuse me. Awful jerseys, by the way. Some changes to the roster. Macklin Celebrini and Adam Fantilli returned home. Fantilli was an injury issue, I believe. And then Pierre-Luc Dubois, Nick Paul, Brandon Hagel, and John Tavares joined the team.
Okay, so let's get...
I don't know why Pierre-Luc Dubois is there.
Okay, that's the hockey world.
Did they see him play in the playoffs? I'm a little confused about that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what it does.
The rest of the additions.
Hockey Canada is loyal to their guys, and all the way from the process, from he was under 15 till now, he's always answered the call. So they thought they would give him the benefit of a doubt, considering he's probably going to be bought out by LA and he's going to be looking for a job.
No, they said they're not going to buy him out.
No, it's too soon in the process. However,
the way they were making it sound like is like no matter what, they're not going to buy him out this summer.
No, that'd be ridiculous. Okay, maybe
Would
not.
it?
In any event,
does he play with a pulse? I don't know. I'm still looking for one.
He's so big and whatever. You know what? He'll get 40 for the Habs one day.
I'm not saying that like I wish him to play for the Habs, but
okay, he's a bit. He's another spoiled rotten guy though. Even though he's dedicated,
and you still want him on your team.
Well, no, because sometimes they can turn it around in a new environment. Look at
in Montreal.
Jonathan Drouin did better in Colorado, didn't he? That's another story.
Yeah, but again, not Montreal.
Okay, but here's the deal. Let's be
honest.
I
think you can do it in a market where it's not as hot.
Okay, let's get down to it. We are Hockey Canada. We are a hockey nation. We want gold at every opportunity we can get. We never play for second, do we? Okay, so let's cut to the chase here. Scalabrini, you're going to be a good player. Fantelli, how many games did he have in the NHL?
What did he play, like 60 this year?
Did he play 60? Okay, now it was
more or less, I don't know.
Okay, so anyways, the replacements that were coming in were established vets who have done way more. Matt, what is that Hagelin guy or whatever his name is? He scored 70. Hagel. He scored 70 points this year.
Oh, he had a great season with Tampa Bay.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And John Tavares, one of the best face-off guys in the NHL, who wants to play, wants to go over and help your team. Come on, kids, you'll get your chance later in the future. But if you want to win a cup, you want to field the best possible team that you can.
Yeah.
And
well, it seems like it was their decision. Especially with Celebrini, which kind of makes sense. Like, just focus on the draft.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, you're
going number 1 anyways.
Okay, and here's the deal. You aren't going to get much ice time anyway. So you can go back home and work on your skills. Go to your training camp. Do what you got to do. Because if you want a gold medal, you want to be the best teams. And right now, it would have been great to see him play with Bedard. Come on.
Sure.
It would have been a lot of fun to see. And I've heard a lot of arguments, our prospects should get a chance to always play in the Worlds just so they'll have the opportunity to feel like what it's like to play for Team Canada.
No, I want the best team there.
Thank you.
If they deserve to be there, that's fine.
No. If they deserve to be there, yes. But I don't want none of this gratitude bullshit on the team.
No. And did Celebrini deserve to be there? Probably.
Okay, he had a shot. But now when the 4 guys that came, who gonna, even Pierre-Luc Dubois, even though I'm still going to say
I'll take him off.
Okay, but I'm still saying, would you take you're going to still take Scalabrini over and put Dubois off? Well, Scalabrini's not played a game in the NHL yet.
Yeah, but he's going to be hungrier, I'd bet.
No, we don't know. But I mean, you're looking at it from that point of view.
Well, just by Pierre-Luc Dubois' resume.
Well, okay, point well taken. I'm just saying, in order for you to do that, other NHL guys that you're trying to attract to the team later in the game, lets them know where your priorities are as Hockey Canada. Mm-hmm. I think that's a big statement that was made, and it's just at the wrong place at the wrong time for Scalabrine. That's all.
Sure.
Bedard played for him last year, didn't he? Did he play in the Worlds?
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yes, yeah. Okay, so that's what they're saying, but it was a different circumstance at a different time. So, in any event, you'll get your chance, kid, if you're half as good as they say you're going to be, and buy Mama a house. You're going to be the first-round pick.
First overall
pick in this year's 2024 draft.
So good luck, Canada, for the rest of the tournament. Bring home the golds, please. Mm-hmm. Next up, Utah announces 20 finalists for their team name. It looks like they will not have a logo ready for the season. Their jerseys are just going to say Utah, from what I understand. But the next season, they will have a full logo, full jersey.
20 names?
I'll read them out. Names? Well, they're going to have a fan vote.
Stop it. That's just to make the fans get excited. They've already decided on the name. Come on. Okay.
Then why spend the money for this?
Okay, give me the ones that are most possible.
I'll just read them all.
Oh, really?
Blast, Venom, Fury, Powder, Freeze, Blizzard, Ice, Frost, Glaciers, Hive, Outlaws, Swarm, Utah HC, Canyons, Mountaineers, Squall, Caribou, Black Diamonds, Mammoth, and Yeti.
Bad, all bad.
I kind of like Black Diamonds.
I'd rather have Venom.
Venom, I kind of like that. Mammoth is kind of cool.
Because they're going to go with the no S name, sounds like.
Yeti, I'm split on. I don't know about that one. Mountaineers is kind of cool.
Yeah, but they're not, look, because are they really a mountainous place? Yes, they are, because they have to go
they got the
mountains and all that. Yeah, nah.
Blizzard's kind of cool.
Yeah, but we've had
I think
blizzards.
Powder's horrible. It makes you think of cocaine.
Okay, I never went there. You got a bad brain. No, I don't know. I think they're going to probably go with the one where you don't have to use an S.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me, right? Correct? Whatever it is. In any event, they're going to say that they're going to, what everybody knows is that there's a new sheriff in town.
Oh, and they're going to spend.
And the salary cap's going to go up. And I heard that they got a couple guys that are coming off the books. So they're going
to have a ton of salary cap space.
That's what I'm saying.
Ton.
And they should be able to use it in a way that will be beneficial for them to make it automatically it's not going to say a contender, but they're going to draw people. Oh, did you
and they have a lot of draft picks too.
Yes, they do.
Very interesting.
But did you hear already that they already sold out for the first season?
Wow.
I heard it's like on the verge of being sold out.
That's not surprising though.
Because all the money that came in on season tickets and all that, but they still want to have a certain amount of walk-up. So however that game works, even in Toronto, don't they have a bit of a walk-up thing or something? Yeah,
like tickets will be released like, I don't know, 24, 48 hours before the game. I get emails about it.
Yeah, but it's
not that I ever buy them. But.
No, because I mean that's money. But I'm saying, but it's not a lot.
No.
Like it's a very, what is it? Less than 10%, isn't it? 5%?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
But anyway, they were already saying that because I seen the owner on McAfee and he said that their buy-up already is their first year of will be sold out.
Good for Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, yes, it is. So as he say, it gives the city of Utah 42 nights to do something else. State of Utah, 42 nights of a different kind of entertainment.
Yes.
Okay, we'll give it to him.
Looking forward to it. So we could jump.
I'm not.
Better than Arizona. Come on.
Oh, I agree. And if they go back there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope
they will.
Water down the
them in Atlanta.
More. Water it down. Water it down.
So let's just move it into what I'm here to talk about. What you're here to talk about.
Oh, here we go.
Boston, Toronto.
Oh,
God is cruel.
Well, who said
God is cruel.
If you believe in God, that's what I'm saying, because God comes probably at an earthquake or a rehab. He couldn't show up at a Leaf game. What, God's going to sit and stand and say,
I know he showed up for the Bruins. That's what I'm saying.
No, man, I'm saying he was at the rehab center. You know what I mean? They had the TV on probably, and he liked the uniforms better. I'm not saying this at all. I'm just saying that, okay, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Let me start it off.
Okay, here you go. You better be good.
When we got the announcement that Wall was in play, my heart sank.
100%. 100%.
God bless them. They played their hearts out. Like I said, 3 best defensive games I've ever seen them play. But where the fuck was that all season, Keefe?
Okay, there you go. Well, we don't have to. Hey, listen, you should be happy. Keefe's gone. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Bittersweet. He had a very nice video. I'll give him that was very classy.
I didn't see it all, but even Gail's seen it. That was just his way of saying, look, I ain't hurting people. Thanks for the show, but I gotta go.
No, but he said the right things.
No, he was very classy.
Very classy about
and I
it.
like Keefe anyway. I know you didn't like him, but that's another story. The bottom line is, okay, whatever you're gonna say about this whole series, let's get one thing straight right now. You lost. Okay, so now that we're here.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Okay, you lost. Okay,
I hadn't figured that out yet.
In Game 7 again. Okay, so now full disclosure, I'm at a concert. I have no idea what's going on in the game. I come right out of Massey Hall and I go to that cool little bar just around the corner, and I run in and I see 4 minutes left in the second period and the score is 0-0, and I'm going, wow, some good hockey must be going on here. And then I look and I see a save in the thing and I go, that doesn't look like Wall. Oh, Austin Matthews is out there. Wow. So they got a game where they got Austin Matthews and Nylander playing at the same time. Yep. And oh, gee, look at this. Nobody's clogging up the zone. Everybody's skating to win the game. This is really, really exciting. Oh, gee, we're going to overtime. Bonus for me.
Well, you skipped over a bunch there.
What did I skip over? You guys played
the goals.
What's that?
The goals.
Okay, first of all, didn't we already talking about God? Did we not bring up God? That's why Samsonov believes in God, because he's always on his knees looking like he's praying. Is that what we're getting at? And look at the hole. That's all goalies in the series.
Right over the shoulder. I know.
Everybody's down. The goal on Swayman last night, a couple goals. What was happening? Everybody knows. How many goals? And look, I'm not even on TSN. I'm not on Sportsnet. I'm just watching the games. Shoot high, everybody, because all the goalies go to church. Especially Samsonov. Where was he? On his knees again. Overtime goal. Where was he? He who hesitates is lost.
My problem with him there was he probably should have played the puck.
He who hesitates is lost. He thought about it, and by the time he thought about it, what happened? Red light on. Red light was on. And
I hate to think this, but if Wall was in that, I think we win that game.
Samsonov couldn't have played any better. I think the Wall would have got one of them for sure. I thought Boston played a little tight. They were a little tight too out there. You know what I mean? Because they just went down to 3-1 before. But let's just talk about the whole. Let's put this into context for you, because I'm biased. I'm Switzerland. I'm a Hab disciple. So let's just look at the first thing. Toronto Maple Leafs. You didn't show up in Game 1 and Game 4.
Absolutely.
So if you had showed up for one of those games, let's talk about that for starters. Neither one of you guys showed up. You didn't even show up. You just gave those games away. Number 2, unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. You couldn't get a good Nylander and Matthews run at the same time.
Well, can we talk about also Game 7? Why was Robertson a healthy scratch?
Oh, okay.
Because they showed the line before the game. I thought Robertson was going to be playing fourth line. I did not expect Connor Dewar and Noah Gregor to both be out there.
Okay, so you're going right into my wheelhouse, bro. What have I been saying?
Dewar had a breakaway too, and it's like, of course he's on. The guy with
exactly. The no hands guy gets a breakaway, and I'm thinking about. And then when I didn't notice, that's what I was getting at. Where was my boy Robertson? More speed, more shot, more scoring savvy, and you put out 2 guys that lay bricks. Come on.
I thought he was finally out of Keefe's doghouse. Apparently not.
Game 7. That's what I'm talking about. Why wasn't we on there? Maybe Brody shouldn't have played either.
Oh, well, the one game he got into, he should not. He got into game, 5?
Yeah,
Game 4. He was in game 4.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Well, don't.
But Keefe realized his mistake. It was like he was in there, and then he was just as quickly he was out.
I'm glad that Keith
right?
gave those videos because that shows he's comfortable.
A little bit.
That's one of the mistakes that he made that made him not have a job anymore.
I'm a little surprised Giordano didn't see any ice in this series.
No, I think it was too fast for him. They had two guys that would have been too samey. They had Edmondson and they had Labushkin. So
what about what game did I throw it out there where I'm like the Leafs should try 7D, and it just didn't happen.
Game 6, I think.
Maybe it was Game 5, but either way,
5. Yeah, you were yelling for the 7D, right?
I would have thought that would have been an interesting move.
Okay, but then your buddy Robertson wouldn't have played again and maybe would have given Matthews
No, scratch Reeves.
What's that? Oh, well, I don't know why he didn't scratch him more. The bottom line is, like, I don't understand that. At that point in time, it was a skating game. And look what happened to you guys when you lost in overtime. That was a full-length setup play off the boards, full skate. Okay, and blame
Credit
everybody.
to Pasternak.
Oh, unbelievable. Okay, and it wasn't like Buddy, defenseman knew where he was firing the puck. Pasternak knew where to go. Game was in Boston. You know the bounces. Do the math.
Yep.
Samsonov on his knees. Oh, over his shoulder in the net. Game over on Cinco de Mayo. Oh, gee. That's, wake up on Cinco de Mayo. It's what happens. In any event, I'm just going to say this. You know what? I feel a little bit for the fan base due to the fact that this is like whatever. But I don't think that what has happened here now is when you had that Dog and Pony show yesterday, is that I don't know where the Leafs are going to go. I've got a good gospel.
By Dog and Pony show, you mean the press conference with Keith Pelly, Brendan Shanahan, and oh my God, I'm blanking on the GM's name. True Living.
Okay, so let's tell the truth. Why didn't they say anything? Because Brendamore is not out of the playoffs yet, and they're not completely sold on Berube. Can I say that?
Or Gerard Gallant.
Or Joel
Quenneville.
Oh no, Joel ain't getting back. No,
well, the word on the
Toronto, the good.
The word on the street. The word on the street is he's not going to get a head coaching job anywhere. He's going to have to earn it back as an advisor first, basically.
I heard that he's still in. What do you call that? He's still on parole.
Yeah, but from what I understand, though, if a team goes to the NHL and's like, "Hey, we really want him," they'll let him have him.
But nobody has done that yet because the commissioner's looking at him funny. Bettman says you can do it, but you can do it, but. So what's a but, Bettman? That means you're going to make it run through. And I heard that's Toronto the good. We're the most woke city in North America. Toronto the woke.
After Vancouver, maybe?
Oh, no. Toronto, no, that's the left coast. We don't count that here, okay? We're the most woke
Seattle
city.
Don't count.
Nah, that's the left coast. So I'm just talking about it's a woke city in here. I've heard through a variety of pundits through the city that would definitely be with MLSE and Rogers and all the good things they do and say and bring in a social justice engineering point of view, that Quenneville would not be a fit just for that reason, which tells me Toronto's my woke.
I love Quenneville, though.
We didn't get the, what's his name from...
the adulterer?
We didn't get the adulterer, did we? See, that's what I'm saying. That plays into how this city runs. Which means,
I think also that with him, though, that was also a case of Houston was clearly the team that looked better for the future.
So perhaps maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps maybe. He could have done something in Toronto, especially with the great trade we made. I think it's going to be Anobi. The Anobi trade's going to come up.
But
in there.
Joe Quenneville did say something in that St. Louis podcast they did. He does want to come coach he just said one of those big Atlantic teams.
Exactly.
And how many of those teams have an opening?
Well, he better go first because Quenneville's my age, isn't he?
He's getting up there.
Yeah, so I mean, you know what I mean?
His brother baptized my sister.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Is he a priest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, yeah, he's got to be up there. I think they should get Gerard Gallant, but notice Gallant hasn't got a job in a while.
I suspect he could be a dark horse candidate.
I could too, but Berube's the front runner. But I mean, let's just talk about anywhere you go with your Jeff Mareks, your Overdrives, your Elliot Friedmans, your Dregs. What are they all saying? Berube's the front runner, but if Brendamore, who doesn't have a contract for next year, is sitting there, what do you do?
Well, Carolina would be stupid to let him go.
Who's got more money? Who's got more money? Hey, Mr. Pelly, you want to win? You see this guy here? Look what he's done with limited resources. We'll hire him and his whole
same with
staff.
Berube in St. Louis.
Point well taken. But the same thing is why wouldn't they have hired him? Wouldn't it have been the perfect time yesterday? How long was that press conference?
We have time.
10 seconds?
We have time.
Time for what?
We have the offseason. I don't think we should be in a rush to hire the coach. I want to make sure we get the right guy.
Okay, when's the draft? In June?
End of June.
End of June. So
we're more than a month away.
So I mean,
that's plenty of time.
Do you think you need a coach by then?
You'd like one.
Okay, so I heard that Shanahan said whoever coach is coming in is going to be in on some of the decisions made on personnel in the near future.
Of course.
So what does that tell you? That tells you we're not having a team that's going, here, coach the team we give you. So that means that they've obviously talked to guys that have a certain personality and a certain pedigree. Those sounds to me like they're talking to guys like Berube and Brindamore.
Rumor has it that Berube is going to be interviewed this weekend.
Oh, 100%. That's a gimme. And he might come out of the interview, but isn't there a Gerard Gallant, Brendan Shanahan connection? Playing together or something?
I don't know if they played. I don't know if they ever played on the same team, but they would have been in the league at the same time.
What's that?
They would have been in the league at the same time.
I think it's a Detroit thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Shanahan played in Detroit way after Gallant, though.
Did he?
Yeah, because Gallant was there early 90s. Shanahan didn't get there until 96, right?
That's true, too. In any event, I like Gallant as a coach. We all know what his reputation is.
Yeah, doesn't exactly get along the best with the upper management.
Which, once again, come to Toronto, the woke. He won't get past the interview stage.
I don't see what that has to do with being woke.
The reason we didn't hire the adulterer, that there's certain aspects about this city and how it's run. Okay, but what's that have to do with
being woke? You're not answering that.
Then we don't want to hire a coach that there's going to be any questions about his character.
What does that have to do? What about his character?
We know he'll tell you, no, I'm doing this. Like from the brass on high will come down and tell Gallant. He says, no, this is my team. He's one of those guys.
But that has nothing to do with being woke.
So when he's going to come here, okay, let me rephrase this a little bit differently. I think that when Toronto goes about hiring a coach, there's certain character issues that they're going to bring up, and at times people have questioned the character of Gerard Gallant. That's all I'm saying. All right, so that's where he would be back in line. Nobody ever questions Berube. The only thing they question about Berube is how tough he is.
Sure.
That's the only thing. There's no character issues. There's no whatever. You know, what does his rap sheet say, so to speak? There is no rap sheet on Berube. The reason he doesn't keep a job all the time is he's so goddamn tough that eventually they got to kick him out because he's killing everybody, which is maybe what Toronto needs.
I agree.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. But I think Gallant could be just as tough, and I think Gallant's a little bit more of a risk taker, which he has proven in the past, and how he motivates players, which could be a new thing which could happen in Toronto, because maybe all Mitch Marner needs is someone to put the switch on. Didn't you just say that?
Will he be back, though?
What's that?
Will he be back, though?
I don't know. I think that he should.
Likely not.
Okay, so he's got no trade clause. You're going to push him out the door?
Depends how bad he is for the locker room.
Okay, so you're going
to immediately right after they
all said the same thing. Look at every guy.
Yeah, but hold on though. Right after they lost the season, immediately they went on the defensive against the media about how they picked on Marner too much. Come on.
Okay, I think that's bullshit. You've been here long enough. And especially when Martiner did his little thing about, in this city they treat us like gods. Oh, buddy, you're
hold on. Okay, I will defend him there.
I will too. I got nothing to do with it.
If he would have said, he should have said rock stars in that case. I think that's what he meant to say.
Whatever, he's not good with the media. My take is this.
Absolutely not.
I'm going to tell you this, okay? Everybody better take a big look at this, okay? The difference is this. All the guys circled the wagons. They all buffed at the media. Everybody knows the media in this sound dwarfs it. You talk about, let's go across the board. Marek, Drager, Elliott, Ray Ferraro, Overdrive.
Well, Ferraro's not really Toronto media anymore.
Yeah, he's SPN. Okay, but Overdrive, Sportsnet. Where am I missing anybody?
The Toronto Sun,
the Toronto Star, the girls that sweep the offices. Okay, you never can't get away from it. So I'm saying at times, either you can handle that pressure or you don't. And everybody here that about the media, if I'm going to say this about the media in Toronto that I find personally is this. When the season's going along, they're not too critical because they're still kissing ass because they got to go to the alumni and attend the games and they want these guys to come on their show and blah, blah, blah. But when times get rough, they throw the book on them, which is at times is rightfully so because this is 8 seasons and you've got 1 playoff win.
No, someone's got to be accountable.
Okay, that's right. So who is it?
I thought I knew last year, but I definitely know now. Marner's got to go.
Wow.
He needs to get away from Papa, and I think that's going to help his career flourish. Leafs almost certainly will lose the trade given he has a full no-move clause, but if you trade him 1-for-1 to Utah for Clayton Keller, I'm happy, for example.
Oh, listen to you. Wow, where did that come from? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, GM.
But I honestly do hope that he is able to become like a Hall of Fame guy and win a cup because you have to love what he can bring to the table.
Right.
I'm dead serious.
You're picking him up. You're driving him
if
to the
Marner
airport.
agrees to a few spots,
You're
I think
driving
you can
him to the airport.
Oh, don't cut me off. Hold on. If Marner agrees to a few spots, I think they can make a workable deal easily. Never underestimate a hockey man's ability to think that they can fix anyone they want.
I can't wait till we get to the gospel. Anyways, I'm going to say this, okay? If Mitch Marner had scored the goal in overtime, what would we be talking about?
If Mitch Marner had scored
Mitch Marner had scored a goal in overtime, he would have been God.
If I had the Midas touch, what would we be talking about? And if I'm not going to talk about ifs because I'm interested in what it's a results-oriented business.
Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. I'm going to keep giving you the rope. I like this. Okay, listen. I know what you're saying. Okay, the bottom line.
Marner always seems to disappear in overtime too.
It was a bad look because he left. He let what's his name go. He released too soon.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He released too soon when the defenseman was at the same time changing on the fly, and they had the set play off the boards. Drop Samsonov to his knees with one of the best scorers in the league picking up the puck, and you got what? Game over. Okay?
Now, the way I see it, this can go one or two ways with Marner. One, he actually does agree to a trade. You maybe get like 5 destinations. Why? Because you gotta sit him down and be like, Mitch, we're not signing you back.
Great. That's it. Okay, I'm picking him up.
You can get a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe get an 8-year deal if that works out. That's the only way you'll be able to get that.
You ain't getting no 8-year deal.
He's 28.
He's 28 now, isn't he? 27.
He is 20. He's gonna be 27 this year.
Okay, so 8-year. Oh,
you never know. You never know.
Okay.
Or he decides to play out the final year of his deal.
That's what I'm doing.
You think that's happening?
I'm calling him. Mitch, play out the final year of the deal. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. This time next year when he scores that goal in overtime and you guys go to the conference finals, then you're going to be, I'm so glad we kept Mitch
That's
Marner.
not happening with him on the roster.
So what's going to go now?
What's going to change? Why is that going to happen?
New coach. New position. Didn't you believe in the
same bums on the team?
Didn't you hear Pelly, Shanahan, and Trey Living?
I've heard this a million times. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about what you guys say. I want to see the results. Okay. Maybe it does work. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But that press conference isn't going to tell me that.
That's why I say it's a dog and pony show. So where are you going to go? Because you guys got more problems like that. You know the number one thing you guys should be worried about right now? And I'll give this to Mr. Hayes on Overdrive who keeps drilling this to everybody. And I go, that's the number one point they should be thinking about. You don't win a Stanley Cup without a top-tier goaltending.
For sure.
You're going into the league next year. You bringing Samsonov back? Are you out of your mind? You got to be kidding me. You ran Freddie Anderson out of town for less. And I bet you'd rather have Freddie Anderson than Samsonov now, even though he had a couple of...
Not the price tag that Freddie would have wanted.
That's a little okay, which is weird, which is another thing, which you didn't give Jack Campbell the money either. Good move.
That one worked out great.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. And you know what? Freddie was Freddie, but you know what I'm getting at here now?
He's been struggling in the New York series. But.
Oh, yeah, he's had his moments. But I'm still saying Carolina has not been disappointed with the play of Freddie Anderson, for the most part. We're going to get to that series in a minute. We're going to get to
Carolina
that series
has some goaltending issues, but...
Well, in any event, so what Toronto should be talking about for anything, as far as I'm concerned, is before you start pushing people out of town, pointing fingers, having nice videos from your ex-coach sitting on somewhere that I wish I was hanging, you guys should be number one priority is, hey, Nashville Predators, what's going on with that goaltender you got there?
Oh, they're not trading him.
Well, I'm just saying, you brought out, let's trade Marner to Utah for Buddy, which is a good, you caught me off guard there, but I'm not saying that would be a bad thing, and throwing a draft pick too, because he's not as proven as Marner.
Oh, absolutely.
So you know what I'm
Arizona's
saying?
got a ton of seconds.
There, I'm just going to say, so take Two seconds in that.
I've seen it thrown around too.
I think that
hold on.
You caught me way off guard. And that kid's how old now, 22?
Keller? Yeah. A little older than that. 24 maybe. Yeah.
And he'd be good up and down the wing guy.
Yeah. Doesn't have the defensive prowess like Marner, but he's got all the offensive skill in the world.
Oh yeah.
Can play all 3 forward positions.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm saying the same thing. Why aren't you calling up the Predators? Are they going to be able to perform, or is he going to be too much money?
I don't see
I say get him now.
I don't see a fit there with the Predators. That's the problem.
What, Soros is not get him?
They're not going to trade him.
They got the kid from Russia coming up.
Why not have both? I think they're going to want to like run both, see how it works there. That's what I would do.
This Wayman Allmark. Yeah, well, that seems to be the model that everyone wants to go on until you got to pay one of them.
If you got well, then that's the time to move off.
Okay,
but for now,
so why doesn't the Leafs give Allmark $6 million for 3 years?
Because they're gonna have to trade for him. He's still got 1 year left on his deal.
Ooh.
I'm not making that trade.
No, I'm not making that either. That's with Boston anyway.
Let LA and New Jersey fight it out for Allmark.
Oh, okay. Someone's got to go on. But anyways, here's my point. That's how look it up.
Hold on, I want to get to a point too. So
okay,
there are an interesting one is, and people might scoff at this first, but Seth Jones on Chicago is an interesting one.
Why not?
There's a lot of There's a lot of money left there, but you got to say
33?
Chicago.
34?
No, he's younger than me.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like 29.
I thought he was. Then I know where you're going with this. I think, and that always works. Seems to work for Toronto.
So, so his contract's big. So it's either you got to tell Chicago eat some of that money, or give us back our first round pick next year for taking on that money.
Ooh, GM, also producer.
And Chicago's got a bunch of seconds. Give us one of our. They have one of our seconds too.
Chicago ain't going to do that though, because you know what it is. They're going to look for a Seth Jones a year later. I forgot he's around that age. That's a good. I think that's have you heard like someone's thought about doing that? Seth Jones would work. Like imagine Seth Jones this year in your lineup.
Oh, I know.
In these playoffs, what a difference that would have meant. Because I'm not saying he's the premier stud, but sometimes you just need.
He's a nice effing piece.
Oh, I'm liking your thinking. I'm saying like you get 3 of those guys. Sometimes you get 3 Seth Jones. They're not a Cole McCarr.
No,
but they're 3 Seth Jones. And ask how that's going in Boston. Or
he's 6'3" every day or whatever he is.
Okay, look at Carolina, even though they're going out. Like we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But you know what? I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about looking at Seth Jones. I never thought about that. So here we go. What's Toronto gonna do now? They get a Seth Jones, they get a goaltender, and they pick up the guy from Utah.
Yep.
And we have a different result before Cinco de Mayo next year.
We'll see.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. We'll see how this offseason goes. This is going to be very interesting. But I guess we can go one by one.
No. We're not done. We're not done with the Leafs yet.
Oh my God.
First of all, should have played Matthews in Game 7?
What do you mean?
Matthews played Game 7. Was he 100%? Oh, Stanley. Here we go again. Part 7. Stanley, come here.
Matthews did play Game 7.
Should he have played Game 7?
I mean, he got the only Leafs assist.
I'm glad that he showed up because it showed his mettle. Because whatever happened to Matthews, he was the best guy in the series up to a certain point. He was easily the best.
He was our top scorer in the series.
He was the best looking player in the series, as the best looking player on both teams.
He won us Game 2.
Okay, exactly. But he was looking as good both ends of the court.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I think, which I'm going to get at, no Rocket Richard guy is ever going to win a Selke. That's a consolation
It's cool
prize.
they got nominated.
He's great defensively.
I think he will win one eventually. That's my prediction.
But when he's got 40 goals, you can't give the Selke to a guy.
Why not?
I think it would be amazing, but it doesn't because it doesn't. I don't know. He's played. I've seen him every game. I think his defensive prowess is amazing.
Datsuk won the Selke having a 100-point season.
Did he?
Or yes, something like, or like a high 90s.
High 90s, he did, but he had a high assist. But he played a different game. But they're still both defensive, so I should shut up. If he gets it, great. But to me, it just seems like a consolation prize. But he's up for the he's up for Ted Lindsay, and I think he's going to win that.
Not up for the Hart though, which I found interesting.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to get the Hart when he didn't get the 70, and everyone says, "Well, what's one goal difference?" I said, "It's aesthetics, basically. You only got 60 some."
It is, but we've said on the show it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't have mattered anyway. I thought he should be a Hart guy anyway, as far as Leafs gotten. But who do you take out of that equation? Especially when
who I take out.
I know your boy. But you know what? When you can't take out the guy who did not get an assist, but that goal in overtime would not have been made if McJesus doesn't make that rush to take the puck out of his own end. You know what I mean? So let's take him out, but we'll get to that later.
Back to the Leafs. Okay, what else did you want to bring to the table?
The fact that you didn't get Nylander and Matthews 100% for 7 games in a series against Boston where at times you completely outplayed them. However, the fact that you outplayed them does not give you any forgiveness for the performances in Game 1 and Game 4.
Absolutely.
And that's what lost you, in my opinion, not just the Samsonov on his knees nonsense. That's why you lost the series, because you forgot it's a 7-game series and not a 5-game series. And that's going to haunt you guys.
I would say specifically it was those Game 3, Game 4 losses at home.
Brutal. Especially
The
game
fact
4.
that we lost both of them?
Yeah, but how badly you lost one of them.
I know.
That's what it was. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't even show
Game 4, they got booed out of the building.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and how can you do that? So no matter what we're talking about, Marner being shipped out of town, or Nylander having a migraine, and Austin Matthews not feeling well,
poisoning,
and maybe Robertson should have been put in for the 7th game. All of those excuses, which are not excuses, they're just mitigating circumstances that affected the outcome of the series. You still had game 1 and game 4 to answer for, and that's what I, as a Switzerland and just an outside observer who is Toronto-centric because of the house that happens, said I will always say game 1 and game 4. That's what I will say. Not necessarily that Marner was this, that, or the other thing. I will say game 1 and game 4.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
And news just coming into the house that happens. Rest in peace, Ron Ellis, dead at 79.
Oh, God bless. Talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yep.
I hope he makes 80. I was hoping he'd make 80. That's what I want to get to. Give me 80 and I'm good. But he got 79. Big shout out to Ron Ellis, a huge, iconic Toronto Maple Leaf player who has a Stanley Cup ring.
Yes, he does.
You know what I mean? Also played on the iconic 1972
The Summit Series.
Even though I don't think he should have been on it. If they didn't have the WHA battle, I think he wouldn't have been on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because Bobby Hall wasn't allowed on
I
the
know
team.
a few other guys, Derek Sanderson. We'd have named about 5 or 6 guys in the WHA. Mark Tardif. There would have been about 5 or 6 guys that would have pushed. Maybe Henderson would have been borderline making that team. Which is just the gods of hockey have said, no, he's got to have his place. Anyways,
Either way.
Rest in peace, Rod Ellis. Condolences to you and to your whole family.
Okay, so time for stay or go?
Yes, it is. So at this time, we've decided what we were going to do is, because Mr. Milani has shown us just a propensity to have perhaps some general managing skills. You heard of the statements that he made inside the salary cap thinking. He teaches me, an old man, new things. So what we've decided to do is we have a lot of mitigating circumstances that are going to result in a different looking roster for the Toronto Maple Leafs going into the 24-25 season. So therefore, we are going to give you the opportunity in Raptor Purple today to discuss.
I'm wearing a Leafs t-shirt too. Jonathan Bernier on the back, shout out.
I like Jonathan Bernier. Didn't he play goal?
He did.
Another goaltender that you shipped out of town too quickly.
I liked Bernier.
I did too.
But like at the end, after the the infamous question, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, we don't have to go there yet. Okay, so here we're going to go. What I'm going to do,
Mandela.
this is a simple, yes, simple operation. I'm going to say a player's name, and Andrew Mulaney's going to say stay or go. Correct? Here we go. Let's start with my guy, Nicholas Robertson.
Oh, he's got to stay.
Okay, you think it'll be better because Keith's gone?
Hopefully he'll get some more a chance at more ice time.
Okay.
But keep him in that second line, third line slot.
Okay, we'll keep him there. Okay, a couple of guys.
A little more power play too.
Okay, you don't have to mention these guys because I don't think they're going to be here. It's just this is an old roster list, so we're not going to talk about Kyle Clifford and Marshall R.I.P because they don't matter. Okay. However, what do you think about Mark Giordano?
He might retire.
Okay, he's gone. Okay, how about David Kampf?
I'll keep him.
You're going to keep him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to real.
Give him some better line mates, maybe.
Okay, let's get obviously. You're tied to William Nylander, so
yeah, he's staying.
That doesn't even matter. Jake Muzzin, gone.
No,
he's already over, so we don't have to worry about it anyway. Joseph Wall,
staying.
Has to. He should be your number one goalie to start the season, correct?
Depending on who else they get this offseason, but
Ilya Samsonov.
Kills me, but he's got to go.
Oh, there we go. Because the conundrum was, and we just spent all that time talking about it, your number one priority should be goaltending. Nothing else.
Just so we thought this guy was...
trade. Yeah, he still could be, but you're not quite sure. Look, he could have been the game. He could have been...
After 2 years and you're still not quite sure at his age, there's a big problem.
No, it's the injury issues. It's not the skills issues.
Samsonov?
Oh, no, Samsonov. Yeah. No, okay, I thought we were talking about... Well, yeah.
No.
Samsonov's got to go. Yeah, he's already done. He dodged bullets here. Nice tenure in Toronto. Thanks for coming out.
Some beautiful moments.
Yes, there is. Bye. Bye-bye.
Best of luck.
Best of luck.
I would sincerely best of luck to Ilya Samsonov. I hope he finds success.
Oh, I do too. He seems to be a good guy. Okay. Next of all, Joel Edmondson.
I'm I would like him to stay, but I have a feeling the Leafs are going to get priced out in free agency.
Plus, you got to think about making the playoffs. I don't know if Joel Edmondson's the guy that gets you to the playoffs.
As a third pairing guy, you don't think so?
But, well, he keeps bouncing away at the end of the season because he doesn't seem to have the medal. But he's the guy that you want in the playoffs. He's the rent-a-D.
If they can find like a good, how old is he? He's got to be what?
Past 35? Got around there. He's got a few miles left in the tires.
Maybe a 2-year deal. You can make things work. Stanley, buddy.
At a league minimum? That's all you're going to get. No one going to give him any big money?
It's going to be tough to keep him.
Okay. How about John Klingberg?
Is that a joke?
Bye-bye.
He's been gone.
Bye-bye. How about Morgan Riley?
Keep him.
Of course you have to. He's one of your mobile defensemen either way you are.
I thought people were too hard on him this series. I thought him and Lyubushkin were pretty good.
Because Lyubushkin covered his ass. He still doesn't. He's a little bit of a defensive liability at times. He escaped some things with some big saves, especially when Wall made some of those game-saving saves. Who was on the ice in front of him? Ooh, I noticed. Morgan. You didn't get the puck out, did you? Okay, but that's all right. You'll keep Morgan. I think Connor Timmins is already he's done anyway. Isn't
I
he?
think they're looking for a way to get him out.
But he's still under contract, right?
One more year.
Okay, so would you keep him? You'd rather get rid of him, wouldn't you?
Get rid of him.
Okay, how about Jake McCabe?
Oh, he's got to stay. Here they're working on an extension with him.
You better keep him because the guy I'm going to say next to him are two, I think, pillar stones for the next little while. That's him and Matthew Nyes.
No, got to stay.
1,000%. Thank you. He's your boy. Now, here's a guy that I think you got to think about, and that's Ilya Lyubushkin. Because I don't think you can keep him and Edmondson, do you?
That's what I'm saying. I would love to keep Lyubushkin. Don't get me wrong.
And he's a little younger.
And we got priced out free agency last time though with him. So
hometown discount.
Hometown discount. He's been a rental.
Okay, so what do you think? Would you keep him? Now, what are you going to do?
I would keep him. I don't know if he's going to stay though.
Okay, so now we got to look at the guys that might help you out down the road. One of them is Mr. Matt Murray. Because now he's going to be off the books.
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, so there's salary. Look, you tell me about the salary cap. Let's put a little.
Yeah, but he was LTIR'd all year.
So it doesn't matter. His money's free.
But okay.
Yeah,
so
you kind of did it.
I have a feeling the Leafs are going to be looking to pick up a contract like that in the offseason because you can do some finagling with it.
Well, that better be on the goaltender edge because if that's goaltender money, and I'm going to keep saying it, you need goaltender. Use that money for goaltender. Agreed?
I mean, if it's LTIR, it doesn't matter what your position is.
I'd use it for goaltending. Okay, next. You keep TJ Brody.
Oh, he's gone. When you can't even get into game 1 or game 7 of the playoffs, there's issues.
How about Jarnkrok? Kelly Jarnkrok.
He's going to stay.
He's going to stay? Good for your fourth line, right?
Third line, fourth line, penalty kill. Can play power play if need be. Can even ride shotgun with Matthews.
Okay, so now we know Matthews is staying. We don't have to say Matthews staying. What about Martin Jones? He's done.
He's probably gone.
Okay.
Maybe bring him back as a third goalie if you can find a way to get that done again.
Okay, so now we're going to be saying Ryan Reeves, but you got to keep him because.
Might as well keep him.
Max Domi.
Find a way to keep him.
Tyler Bertuzzi. Find a way to keep him.
I would agree. That's going to be a little bit more challenging, though.
Okay, but here's what you got now. We just talked about moving that Matt Murray money, move that Muzzin money. Who else is got?
But again, those deals basically don't count, though.
Yes and no.
But they didn't count against the cap because they were LTIR'd.
Okay, so where'd that money go? They went to Bertuzzi and help with the Domi. Can't you do it again?
No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't.
So what? I would do anything in your power.
Agreed.
You're
going to have to move out one of the big boys. We'll get to that, though.
Okay, so
maybe two.
Mitch Marner.
Sorry, Mitch. Love you. You got to go.
John Tavares.
That's the interesting one.
I say, here's my argument. Okay, I'll get to that later when we get to the gospel.
So July 1st, you're able to renegotiate or whatever, negotiate your next deal with him. If he is leaning towards something that is reasonable, I think you should keep him. If not, you got to move off.
Okay, so here's my take on it. Johnny Tavares is 34, right?
Yep.
Okay, so his skills in front of the net and the ability to get
or 30. No, 34. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, his ability to play defensively and do face-offs could make him the most likable fourth line center in the league.
We already got David Kampf though.
you can push him out of the way then and use that money for Tavares because you got a couple kids coming up from juniors that might be playing in the center too.
Oh, agreed. Well,
Okay,
one especially, Fraser Minton.
You got it. And the other, is that the guy that plays for London Knights?
No, that's a Cowan, but he's more of a winger.
Okay, well, anyway, you got both of those guys coming into the lineup, and Tavares is very valuable. Wouldn't it be good if those guys are in front of him? But
you're not bringing back Tavares as a fourth line center. That's immediately a red flag. If you think that's the case, you got to move off.
I'm saying now.
You're going to have your captain as a fourth line player.
No, then he gives up the captaincy to Austin Matthews. That's already done. As soon as he makes a deal, they do a little presentation at the center of ice.
Oh, so now you're pro. Because earlier, like a few weeks ago, I brought that up and you shot that down
Austin?
faster than.
But he got it now. You got to. I'm not saying he's captain material, but it's his team, and he's played. Just got nominated. What changed my mind about the whole thing about
Selke?
You got it. Because now you're.
We knew that was a possibility, though.
And you know what? As the seasons go on, maybe I wasn't big on it because the way that he plays. But if you have said, I've been the one banging Maston Matthews' drum as one of the better defensive players in the league all season. I've been on that tip the whole time. I think he's a great player.
Even back to last year.
Yes, I just love the guys playing. So I think that's just about it. Did I miss anybody? No, I think that's everybody.
You didn't bring back Benoit's an obvious bring
back.
Yeah.
Benoit, that's right. So how did I miss on him? So there's the other guy I'm missing too. Benoit's got to come back.
Stanley, chill, buddy.
Yeah. Stanley does not.
Is he named for the Stanley Cup, by the way? My mom asked that question.
In a weird kind of sort of way, if I tell you the story, it takes too long. If I meet your mom, I'll explain it to you.
You didn't bring up Marner.
I did. I said,
did you
Mitch Marner. Okay. Mitch Marner right now.
Oh, Liljegren?
Oh, right. Who else am I missing? Someone else.
I got to fill in the gaps for you here.
Okay, then who else did I say?
Liljegren, with him, he's not slam dunk to bring back. If you can find a defensive upgrade, he might be a guy to swap out in there. Like a Seth Jones, for example.
Okay, yeah, I like the Seth Jones.
But
angle.
for now, keeping him isn't the worst thing for now because he's cheap.
Yeah, I agreed. Is he under contract still for another year?
He's an RFA this summer.
Oh, okay.
So he's still under team control, right?
Okay, that's true too. But Benoit, you have to bring back.
Yes, absolutely. Him McCabe, Riley, slam dunks to bring back this year. Everyone else is still kind of in flux.
Agreed.
McMahon, bring back, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Connor Dewar, he's an RFA. You wouldn't bring him back for cheap?
No, because you got too many other guys on the cheap and you want to try to give a deal where you got to think about 2 years from now. You'd like to keep Tavares 3 more seasons if he's under cap control because I think
he's still a big if, though, is our point from earlier, though, or my point at least.
So I'm saying if you're going to retain him, you make the talk this year and say, this is all we're going to pay you. If he accepts that.
I don't mind Dewar as a fourth liner, though.
So who would you rather have as a depth forward, Tavares or Dewar?
I would not want Tavares as a depth forward.
Well, what's he going to be when he's 36 or 37 years old? What's Corey Perry?
Then maybe it's just best to move off him then.
No, what's Corey Perry? Why does he keep staying around? Because he's become a good depth player. Can't you see Tavares?
He's playing on the third line, though.
So if Tavares can play on the third
you're talking
line,
about Tavares
I don't know if he'll go all the way to the fourth line, but I'm saying...
Well, you brought it up.
Well, in any event, he'll be one of your bottom 6 forwards then. How's that?
Okay, because third line, fourth line, I think that's a big distinction.
Agreed.
In this NHL.
Especially with the minutes played.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so now, but I'm saying that I'm cheering for Tavares to stay because I think he's a viable piece that you're going to use going, like, in those...
I'm worried about the speed.
Oh, sometimes in the playoffs, so he can do that mucking up. There's speed in the playoffs, but there's a lot of that.
How many points did he have this series?
Doesn't matter. He's plus.
It does matter.
Okay.
Look at his contract.
How many points did Dewars get?
We're talking second line versus a fourth liner.
Okay,
look at the ice time difference.
So this is the last.
Look at the power play time.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is he's getting near the end of that. Before you get,
but he's still got that 1 year left.
Okay, then you can decide. I think that's everybody.
Because Connor Dewar, if you bring him back, it's gonna be like what for $1 million? And
he's young.
That's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
Pontius Holmberg, I would bring him back in a bottom 6 role. Noah Gregor, I think he's gone.
Yep.
That's it.
Noel Gregor was good while he was here. I don't think he showed enough.
He had a good time. First half of the season, then kind of the wheels start to fall off.
Well, I'm saying this
had a good playoff game, though.
I think I'm going to say if you're going to top your forwards, I'm looking at when you guys break camp next year, I expect that Bobby McMahon will be in the games expected to play 75 of them. I think 1 or 2 of those...
82, barring health.
That's what I'm saying. I think one of those 2 kids that are in juniors right now is going to crack the lineup, if not both, because they're now around 20. They're both around 20.
Well, Mitten's going to be 20, Cowan 19.
Okay, yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like Cowan might still need another season of seasoning in the the junior leagues.
He's a pretty big boy.
No, he's small.
Is he? Or is it the other guy?
He's thick,
big?
though.
Yeah. He's bowling ball material.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I'm just speculating to try to keep hope in Leaf Nation that you'll have those two guys come into the lineup. You'll have
well, they were the prospects I alluded to in my eulogy.
That's what I'm saying. So there you go. And not only that, which was a good eulogy, by the way.
Thank you.
Just pulling your leg was very good. And the promos have been outstanding, by the way. I haven't brought that up, but I'd like to say it on the air. But in any event, I'm thinking that your forward lines are going to be changed due to the fact that through attrition that you're going to be able to pay these guys less money, which is going to open the door to keep Bertuzzi and Domi, because I think those are two guys it took them a long time to go, but when you got to where you had to go, those two guys were the two. That's why you got them.
Yeah.
They made their money. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Domi wants to go anywhere.
No,
and
absolutely not.
His family's already got money. He doesn't need the big money, so he'll take I think he's going to give you a serviceable contract. I heard Bertuzzi.
I think he just wants stability too, because the amount of teams that he's changed in the last 5 years.
He got 3 years.
Perfect.
With that money, and I think you're going to have to give Bertuzzi 3 years too, because he loves Toronto and he just had.
I think he's going to want more term.
More term than Domi? You think he didn't have a great year. He had no year.
That's true.
Who is better, Domi or Bertuzzi? You would expect a Bertuzzi to have done because of his scoring prowess before he got here. And Domi's only had the 1 year, the 72-point season in Montreal. Other times, what has he been?
But we brought him to be more of a second line, third line guy anyways. We knew that.
That's what I'm saying. He's made his money. You don't want him to leave town. You don't want Bertuzzi to leave town. Okay, you know what I mean? Because then you start with a whole new team, and who knows what you're going to get anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Lots of changes in Leafland this summer.
It was.
You
fun.
would think
it was fun while it lasted. So we should get on to the rest of the playoffs because the show's been running a little long here.
Yes. So Dallas Vegas, what a series that was.
You know what? I'm going to give Dallas a lot of metal due to the fact that it looked like they were on the ropes as soon as the series broke out of the gate.
Oh, you're telling me.
And they fought all the way back. And Mr. Milano, you have to look at it this way. You were the guy that told me going into Game 7, you still expected Vegas to win the Stanley Cup. I'm saying, slow that down. Now, if they had won, you would have looked good. I was just a fence sitter. At least you had the balls to commit to what you were thinking at the time. Now, let's take it one step later. Okay? What does Dallas do? They jump right into the Colorado series. And let's talk about something that a couple of teams have done, which I don't understand. If this is the way you're playing for 60 minutes and you get a 3-goal lead, I know that the game has changed.
Most dangerous lead in hockey.
Oh, there you go. And what ends up happening is you don't play prevent defense because that prevents you from winning the game. Think about it. They had Colorado down 3-0 all over the board. Cole McCarr pulled the guys over and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go at them at waves. Look at this. They're sitting around center ice waiting for us.
And the same thing almost happened in Game 2.
There you go. But okay.
They won, but
what happened? Okay, that's Cole McCarr says, let's just go on at them. Because the difference may be in this series, the thing that I've been talking about all show, which I can't shut up about, is the goalies.
Yep.
The Otter has come to life. You know what I mean? And our buddy in Colorado, sometimes I think that if Colorado, when they're going in that direction so much, it's good for him because then Colorado can build a lead. Because sometimes, he just lets up a goal at the wrong time. Thank God I'm still saying, which I said to start the series when I really got to look at these teams. Don't you think they got the top 3 best lines, even though I agree with you on what's going on in Dallas and their size?
Sure.
But those first 9 guys coming at you in Colorado, whoo! Woo! They're animals, and you got McCarr coming up behind them for 27 to 30 minutes a night. That means the rest of your guys just got to play their role like Towns is doing, and the second 2 guys, what do? Just hit everything in sight and move the puck forward.
NHL actually came out with an amazing video comparing some Cale McCarr moves to Bobby Orr.
He has a couple.
Yeah.
He has a couple. Don't say that guy's a master with the puck. I was surprised. Did Quinn Hughes win the
What, the Norris?
Norris, no, they haven't.
No, he's never won. I don't even think that. Yeah, they didn't come out with the nominees yet or the finalists.
We're getting to see both of them on an every night basis, and Quinn Hughes is a great hockey player.
Absolutely.
If I had to take the choice between the two,
You're taking Makar.
I'm taking Makar. All good
Not
things
even
about
close.
you.
No offense to Quinn, but
no offense at all. But Makar's out there almost 30 minutes a game.
he's an animal.
He's not
animal.
that big.
No, he's
not huge, but you know what he is? He's very deft on, is that the word?
Yeah.
Deft on his skates, because he's hard to hit. You see guys coming on, you see them hitting the boards, and he keeps on going. Like a couple of times I think he's going to get lined up, and he doesn't, because look at Mr. Pasternak's taking his shots, and so is, we'll get to that in a minute. But that's going to be Florida.
I stand by the winner of the Stanley Cup is going to come out of this series, Dallas, Colorado.
I'm with you on that. I'm not going to argue. I completely concur. I think they're the two most complete teams. They go head to head. But like I said, there's a living proof, people. Do not play prevent defense, Dallas. No. You can be up 2-0 in this series. But
they could have been.
You got okay, let's give credit where credit is due. Colorado didn't give up. Didn't give up last night either. Okay, so we got another little minor problem here. It's called Stanley. Hey, no, listen, buddy. I'm on the air. I have to say that for a show. Can we get a growl at you anyway? In any event, we're Stanley. No.
Should we move this to the Lone Canadian series?
Yes, we should, which is sad because one of these guys have got to go home.
It is, but at least one is guaranteed to go to the conference final, which is cool. Not always a guarantee in the NHL, obviously, but Vancouver and Edmonton tied 1-1. Both games have been spectacular. Vancouver with that huge comeback in game 1, 4 consecutive goals, all within 20 minutes after being down 4-1, win 5-1. Then last night, looked like that Vancouver was going to close it out, but then, that little guy named McJesus came out and tied the game, and then Edmonton got the win in overtime.
You're telling me you think that's your favorite series left of all the series that are going on?
It has to be.
I really like the Dallas Stars. I think maybe the
That's
West.
That's a great one, too.
Yeah, I know, but I know what you're saying. I guess it's because
all four.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, the Edmonton or the New York Carolina series has been highly entertaining. It's too bad it's all gone one way.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That reminds me of that Calgary Edmonton series from a couple years ago.
I was thinking about that too.
You know what I mean? Especially when they scored in overtime, and then you said, "Oh, gee, that's 3-0 now." This series,
2 games went to overtime.
Yes, and it was
game 2 was in double overtime, and then game 3 went to overtime as well.
And then it went to 3-0, and you just go, "Oh God, that's the end of that great hockey, isn't it?"
My pick of Vincent Trocheck for Team USA is starting to look good, though.
Oh, you're damn right it is. You're damn right. He's already making me nervous. The bottom line is that. When you talk about competitive series and how series go on now, that series is going to go into the book, and it might even be 4-0.
You know what's the difference in this series to me, though?
What?
Goaltending.
Oh, yeah. Just you're saying we're talking
New York's
about
got the guy, Carolina doesn't.
Yeah, he just let him in the wrong time, even though he hasn't played terrible. And why did they switch him?
Save percentage.
Why did they switch him? Like they put in the other guy to give Freddie a rest.
And then the other guy looks even worse.
That's what I'm saying. They should have stayed in there. That's what, even though they still got the overtime with him.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? But that's more of a prowess of the front end of the Carolina, who remind me a bit of the front end of Colorado. Except they're just not getting it done. And you're right, my boy Kokamini.
Well, Carolina doesn't have the top end talent like Colorado does either. They don't have McKinnon. They don't have a Rantanen. I don't even know if they have a Nichushkin, to be honest. Like, Aho and the boys are all very good, but...
Nichushkin's having a great playoff, too, isn't he?
Like 2 years ago.
Yes, he's there. I'm saying that I'm starting to smell like, in the history of hockey, a team skips a year and then they come back to win to show their greatness.
Happens all the time.
I'm smelling that about Colorado, which gives credence to the fact that if whoever wins this series wins the Stanley Cup... What is that saying about Edmonton and Vancouver? They just don't. They're giving us entertaining hockey, but they don't look built the same.
No. And Vancouver, it's kind of understandable because like they're still kind of on the start of this journey, I'd say.
Yes.
Edmonton, though, like again, if they lose this year, they got to be looking for answers. There's the McDavid to Toronto rumors are gonna be fast and furious this summer.
And that's coming. He wants to play here.
Of course he does. He's a Newmarket boy.
Of course. Andrew, can you tell everybody what's going on right now?
You are, Stanley, you're sitting down. Stanley is all over your lap, hopping up and down, moving his head, and you're just trying to
chill his ass out. Okay.
With not great results. The results suck. Come on, Stanley, get the ball.
Okay, go. Okay, just... All right. Okay, Stanley, listen, we're almost done.
So we'll just wrap it up with the last series here. Florida versus Boston. Every game here has been a blowout.
Worst series.
But, I mean, this is not going the way I thought it would. I thought Boston would be able to hold down the fort more defensively. Them catching Florida off guard in game 1 does not surprise me at all.
No, that happens all the time.
All
but
the
here's
time.
what I see happening now.
Rest versus rust, you know?
Okay, but here's what I'm saying happening now. Florida is just beating Boston down. They know they had a rough 7-game series with Toronto, which is very physical. So now they've doubled down on the physicality. And you see Marchand? Marchand only played 10 minutes last night. He was beat up. See Pasternak? Now, I got a whole
This goes back to last year. Boston does struggle with physical teams.
And they're usually the bully. But in this case, the bully's bullying them. Now, I still say we've never been about stage fighting and all that, but do you have new respect for Pasternak?
I do.
How can you not?
Taking on a big boy like Matthew Tkachuk like that, someone that really he's got no business fighting. Very honorable of Pasternak. Shout out to him.
I'm not even a fighter either, and I hate Boston, and I got no love for Pasternak. But if I was Pasternak, I would have done the same. I would have probably got my ass kicked, but I would have said, no, enough is enough. You got to do that sometimes, which is what I heard people calling out about certain players on a certain team that in a certain city that we live in. You know what I mean? Oh, Stanley.
But yeah, all 3 of these games have been a blowout. I don't know what it is. I guess the Leafs just have a propensity for making the other team's goalies look good. Swayman has not been the same. Honestly, I thought they'd give him a rest game too.
I did too.
I thought we'd see Allmark in this series
because he looks a little burnt. You know what I mean? Like, and you know another thing,
which makes it even weirder that they decided to play Allmark game 2 against Toronto. I don't get at all what Boston do with what they're doing here.
I think they screwed up the formula, is what it is. I think that's the worst series, and I think if that gets over in 5 games, I'm not surprised. Just especially after last night.
I called Florida in 7 though, so I'm
really. I think it's going to be over quicker. I just see him. It looks like Florida's just beating them up and beating them down. And you know what I mean? And you see Marchand looking like he was staggering to the bench. Pasternak's ducking.
Marchand day-to-day now.
Oh, he is, eh?
After the Bennett hit.
Yeah. And that was a clean hit. And McAvoy's looking a little like he's got his head up. He's looking around instead of just playing. What's the guy that plays center? Coyle. He's looking around now because all the Florida guys, and I don't necessarily like that type of hockey. Because Florida's out hunting most of the time. You know what I mean? Bennett, even Reinhart, they're all coming up.
Bennett. It's a dirty name in the Milani household.
Okay, and all those big goon defensemen who you don't even know who their names are except for Mantour, who's such a great player.
Do you see him mock Marchand for the licking?
Oh, 100%. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. You're bullying them now. So we're going to say, like, if Boston doesn't show up tomorrow night, we're going to have a very quick series. Mm-hmm.
Although, wouldn't it be funny if Boston's down 3-1 and they pull the reverse of what Florida did to them last year?
No, because I hate Boston. So anything that goes bad or wrong with them, I hate. I just hate Boston. I hate Florida, too. I just realized it's a tough series for me to watch because I don't like either team. And I just have a much larger hate for the Bruins. And
it's more of a historical hate.
Yes, I know it's been in almost.
Florida's that new hate, you know.
Yes, I mean, you got to have new hate. Agreed. Anything else you want to say about the Stanley Cup playoffs?
No, I'm just looking forward to some more games tonight. I'm really hoping Carolina doesn't get swept.
Like we said, you know what?
Although maybe that makes Brendan more available earlier, so I don't know if I should be saying that. But
point well taken. I'm just saying it. Like I said, those 3 games were 3 of some of the most fun hockey games I've seen in the playoffs so far.
Calgary, Edmonton from 2 years ago.
And now what do we got? It's almost over. But anyway, enjoy the playoffs.
Enjoy the playoffs, NBA and Stanley Cup. And now it is time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone in the world's favorite segment. It's the gospel according to Cruz.
Why, thank you. Dear Leaf Nation.
Oh, boy.
How are you feeling? Did you wake up on Cinco de Mayo and think to yourself, this sure feels like Groundhog Day? We all know Bill Murray took advantage of his Groundhog Day. The Toronto Maple Leafs, not so much. Personally, I believe you have to take a new perspective on your situation and not make a bunch of knee-jerk reactions due to the team arriving at the same conclusion, which seems to be a lack of games played in the month of May or June. Let's see now. You've had a bagload of seasons with no playoffs, and now you have a bagload of seasons with a bunch of playoff appearances. And regardless of how these seasons end, I'm quite sure I know which bagloads of seasons you would prefer. Now, all I hear after an abrupt ending to the 24 season is the same thing I've been hearing after the abrupt ending in the last 8 springs. Things must change. So-and-so has got to go. Blow the whole thing up. And a plethora of frustrations fueled by the same results that have pained Leaf Nation for well over a generation. Perhaps maybe I can make you understand why you're in this agonizing position. Since the lockout of 2005 to the spring of 2024, the Toronto Maple Leafs have lived by their streaks. From 2006 to 2016, you missed the playoffs every year except for the lockout shortened season of 2013, where practically every team made the playoffs anyway. And in 2013,
That's not true.
The Leafs still lost in the first round in 70 games to none other than who? The Boston Bruins. To me, that's one hell of a drought. However, the Leafs have now made 8 consecutive playoff appearances, and in this parity-driven, hard salary cap system, this streak must be respected. In this streak, you have won one playoff series in 2023, which was your first playoff series win in 20 years. Take it one step further, and you've not even made it to a conference final since 2002. Every Canadian franchise has made a larger noise in the playoffs or made a conference finals in the same span. Damn it, my beloved Habs may have missed the playoffs 8 seasons since the 2005 lockout. However, we have 3 conference finals appearances, a finals appearance, and numerous playoff series wins. And the bet is still alive that my Habs will make a cup final before the Toronto Maple Leafs. The issue at hand is that the last 8 consecutive playoff appearances, the Leafs lineup has been based on a core group of 5 players, and every year the results have not changed. A bunch of Game 7 losses, a bunch of we are so close, and a not one deep playoff run. So the question now becomes, is it time to dismantle this core and head in a different direction? My answer is be careful what you wish for. All it takes is a couple of bad decisions, a couple of bad drafts, a hard cap, and a wrath of a fan base, and boom, you're back to consecutive seasons without a playoff appearance. Can you say hello, San Jose? How about hello, Blackhawks? Better yet, how are you doing, Columbus? As much as regular season success as the Leafs have had, being so close to these playoff series and not breaking through has its frustrations naturally. But not being involved in the dance is much worse. The Leafs have issues. No team has won a cup with 4 players making $10 million more a year. No team has won in the lockout since it without having a stud defenseman or a decor averaging 6'2" and 220 pounds. No team has won a cup without a top-tier goalie. All things the Leafs have lacked since the lockout. So where is the change? They fired Sheldon Keefe, which is obviously coming. In a results-based business, he wasn't getting the results. Will you chase Mitch Marner out of town, then clamor to replace a 100-point season player? Why dump John Tavares when he is a season away from a hometown discount and in the position to be the best-paid 3rd or 4th line center in the NHL? The salary cap is on the verge of increasing, and players are coming off the book should free up money to keep the Domi and Bertuzzi-type characters, which you are in need, who are proven playoff performers. And stick to the $5 or $6 million budget for a goalie, unless he's a Carey Price type guy. So I watched the season-ending presser with Shanahan and Treliving and the new MLSE CEO Keith Pelly lay out the same dog and pony show. Find a coach who can change the message in the dressing room and come with a winning pedigree. I concluded the biggest change will be no change. Why? Because Leaf Nation are a bunch of sheep, and they will continue to show up and pay regardless of the results. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a top 10 or a top 5 franchise in North America, up there with the Cowboys, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Lakers. Brendan Shanahan has continued to consistently make the playoffs. The Leaf brand is oozing in money. Business is great, but winning is not. If the Habs constantly lose, the fan base turns their back. If the Bruins constantly lose, the fan base turns their back. Until Leaf Nation balks at the profits made by a traditionally loved franchise and stops showing up when results don't change, expect the same thing every time Cinco de Mayo arrives on the calendar. Leaf Nation, ask yourself this. How long can you put up with playing for 2 more weeks in Anaheim or Columbus? I hope I'm wrong, but money changes everything, and as long as the profits satisfy the boardroom, winning will always be secondary. Sorry about that, bro. That's just
There's
the
a
way
couple
I
things
view-
wrong in that. A couple facts that weren't right in there.
What?
Montreal making 3 conference finals. You guys made 2 since the lockout.
3.
2.
I looked it up. I'll bet you. We made 3 conference finals and 1
2021.
And one before that. I can look
No,
it up
not
right here.
since the lockout.
Okay, well, I'm going to look this up really quick. I'm going to show you. Anyway, where else?
You said something about in 2013, everyone making the playoffs. I don't know what that was about.
And that's locked the shortened season. Remember when we?
No, but it was a regular
game?
playoff format. It was the last season of 1 versus 8. The Leafs were the 5 seed.
Yes, they were against Boston. But
Yeah.
I mean, the scheduling was unbalanced too. It was a weird reason.
Okay, but like it was a regular amount of
lucky.
teams that made the playoffs. And then you said something else that was weird.
What?
Oh God, I'm trying to think now.
You'll hear it again. It was all truth, 100%. Research and everything. I'm sorry
I
for
just
you guys.
poked out a couple things that weren't, but
So what was
and
wrong?
then you said something too about like every team had like a stud defenseman and a
Every
stud
team
goal.
or 3 big defensemen ever since the lockout. Every team.
had both.
No, they had one or the other.
Okay,
Every team I researched it. Every team, and you go back and look at them. There was a Lindstrom. There was
Carolina's the exception though.
But they had 3 big boys back in the day. Glenn Wesley.
Yeah, but he was like what 36 at the time, 40.
Yeah, but they were all big. They were all 6'3", whatever the case may be. But that's who your Leafs are, and I agree with that. Money. This has been my whole 43 years living in Toronto. What's the bottom line in Toronto? Always make money.
Oh, and also you say about something about the fans like not going. Meanwhile, like however your Habs been doing, I don't see you turn your back on the Habs. That makes you a bit of a hypocrite, doesn't it?
I haven't watched the last 10 games.
Well, last 10 games. When was that?
Okay, so and guess what? Our attendance went down this year.
Okay.
Leafs attendance never goes down. Never goes down. Ratings never change. Guys are
No,
always
ratings
at the
do
top.
change.
Not much. Not with the Leafs. Not with
Yes, it does. That's proven.
But you guys, okay, you are the fan base. What are you guys going to do to change this? Marner leaves.
What? It's not up to me.
Okay, so then
Last time I checked, I'm not in the boardroom. I'm not staying with Shanahan for a living.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying to them, to me, and that was my punchline. As long as the boardroom looks at the profit sheet and says, "Wow, man, we make a lot of money. Why are we going to move Mr. Shanahan? Were we making quite that much money when we were there?"
Well, if it was just about money, then Richard Petty would still be president.
Yeah, but they pushed him out because he already made too much money. He was good. He's gone. That's why Tannenbaum needs a new project, and he's calling it the WNBA. Because he's slowly getting pushed out because the corporation's getting larger and eating more. It's becoming MLSE. Like when you guys win, by the time you win the Stanley Cup, who's going to accept the trophy on the ice? The whole boardroom? They're going to pull out a chair?
Well, it's got to be one guy. Hopefully it's Keith Pelly.
Well, hopefully, yeah, he'll be the CEO. So, yeah, you hope it is. Because
That's who it
because
would
that'd be sooner or later. But what's the bottom line? Why would you get rid of Shanahan? Look what he's done for the franchise. Financially, culturally, aesthetically.
How about on the ice?
That's secondary.
No, it's not. Not in Toronto.
Well, you change my mind. You change my mind. This team makes more money.
Like I said, if it was just about
money,
Richard Petty would still be president.
They pushed him out. He made too much. You did deny this. Do you deny that? Okay.
Making too much money in Toronto. That's a good joke.
Well, it is. Okay, but let's be serious for a second. Let's take a serious look at this, okay? We don't know what the Toronto Maple Leafs are worth because they're buried in a conglomerate called MLSE.
Yeah.
So they don't have to release all their private books.
Anyone that's not public.
Exactly, okay? Word around the campfire is the Dallas Cowboys and the Lakers and all that put out what they show with their public bullshit. They say that the Leafs could be just as valuable as them on a money-making wise basis.
I don't buy that.
Oh, on a money-making wise? Come on the market that we have here?
It's NHL to MLB to where it's different. Well, especially NFL, NBA, it's different economics.
Oh, I'm going to still say the Leafs are a top 10 franchise in North America easily of all sports combined. They're making more.
No. If they were an NFL team, they'd be in the bottom 5 in value.
Oh, only because it's football, maybe. But I'm not.
But there we go then.
But I'm still saying they're making their money. The Leafs always.
Of course, they're making their money.
Okay, so sometimes I'm saying that the decisions are made better. Like, okay, if you thought there was going to be wholesale changes, okay, Dubas got out. Now history shows Dubas wanted out. Okay.
Of course.
Okay, Dubas wanted out. So Shanahan is the kingpin. All right. So that means he was in the room.
He's
with
on the
somebody.
hot seat.
Okay, then. So if you're going to make these great changes that the fan base now, and I'm thinking about you and every pundit that gets a microphone like myself is going to say, okay, where are the big changes going to be? Wouldn't Shanahan be one of the ones who changes? Because he had to be in the room to make those decisions.
Also, it's a new CEO, so I'm sure he's going to take this year to evaluate.
Well, he's going to look at the print sheet, and it's going to say, profit, baby. So
How about on the ice? Keith Pelly's a competitive guy.
I want to see that then. I want to see it because I'm really believing this. If you guys, in my opinion, I don't know what's going to go on with the Marner-Tavares thing. I really don't. But in my opinion, I would keep the status quo. I would take a shot, get a new coach, and change them around. You know how close you guys... This is the closest
you were. And expecting different results. Is that not the definition of insanity?
Add the different pieces around them. That's all.
Oh, come on. We've tried this before. That's just what we're moving the chairs around.
Okay, so then I'm going to just say this.
No.
When you guys, I can't wait till Marner's playing for the Montreal Canadiens. and and you guys can't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, you got to be careful what you wish for.
You got to be careful about what you said a couple of weeks ago.
I'm just like...
I'm just saying you're lying about Montreal never missing Montreal would never miss the playoffs 7 seasons in a row.
They won't. You watch.
How many? It's what, 4 in a row now?
No, only 3. Only 3. It's only 3. So when we're back in the playoffs
you're gonna miss next year.
We're gonna see. And you know what? When we do get in, we make noise. I actually looked it up on the playoff record, and I looked Leafs Toronto. Now, if you want to look at actual success on the ice, and you did it per capita since the lockout, Montreal is kicking your guys' ass. First, we made 3 conference finals,
2.
bro. I'm going to look it up right now real quick.
09 and 2021, that's it.
Okay, hold on. Look at this. Let me just get this right here. Okay, let's go here. Right here. Okay, let's just go. Where are we at now? 2005 to 2006.
Yep.
Lost conference finals,
09.
2010. Lost conference finals, 2014. Lost conference finals,
okay.
2000.
Oh, yeah, you guys. Okay, yeah, no, okay, you're right. I forgot about the one to the Rangers.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So 3 conference finals
yep.
and playoff appearances. And how many times? Now, I wish I could put it side by side. When you see all those years where it's just yellow because they didn't make it, and the years Montreal always winning playoffs. Now, a couple times we did miss the playoffs in those stretches, but then we came back and did something like upset Pittsburgh in the first round and then get our asses kicked in the second round. Okay, but we did a bunch of that shit. You guys didn't even do none of that.
And you want to keep the same core.
I'm saying that I think...
Oh, yeah. Worry about the Habs.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to be good next year. We're going to be good. We're going to have
suspicious.
Logan Mailloux, Rookie of the Year.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
First Team Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a guy you need on your team. And look at how you know what? You know what's really interesting? We got to end this show. We're going too long. Just end it on this note. You know what's really interesting? I watched how you guys built your team, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I didn't think nothing wrong with paying those guys the money because they were of market value, but it just proves in this market it's hard to do because you can't. Look at no team. Look in the playoffs this year. Pasternak's making 10. Look at all the teams that are left. Paster's making 10. Panarin, what's his name? Panarin on the Rangers making 10. Okay, go around. Anybody on Boston? No, just Pasternak. Somebody on Dallas is making 9 or 8.
Yeah.
Colorado, how many guys? Now, there will change on Colorado. It's going to have to change. But how many guys are on Colorado making over 10? Nobody.
McKinnon.
Oh, yeah, McKinnon. The only one. Yeah, one guy. McKinnon. On Edmonton, only 2. Draisaitl and McDavid. How many on Vancouver? Nobody, but Peterson will next year.
Yep.
So think about that. That's just, I thought that was odd. So what was that telling you about?
They bet on the salary cap going way up and they lost.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't go up. But this year I'm saying I see a crack in the window. If you drop the right money, because there is going to be a little modicum of money hanging around. Okay, well, you got it's there on paper. It's how
I don't care about on paper.
It's how you use it. How you use it. That's what I'm saying. And then Toronto is going to, and the cap's going to go up $4 million in June.
Sure, allegedly.
Allegedly, the favorite word of a house that happens. Allegedly. So if it goes up,
is that going to change Mitch Marner's attitude, though?
I don't know. I think
we
know
the answer to that. He's still going to be a bitch.
Okay. I'm in Etobicoke. I'm supposed to say sacred things about this wonderful team called the Toronto Maple Leafs. I got more concerns about the Blue Jays hitting than I have concerns about whether or not the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to make the playoffs next year.
Obviously.
Or Mitch Marner is going to be on and off the team. I'm saying that you guys are in a position that I'm glad the Habs are not. To tell you the truth, I'm glad I'm not, because you don't know. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. All that kind of bullshit.
Sure.
Karma could bite you in the ass.
But when the devil you know has been biting you in the ass.
He's only 27 years old.
That's your peak.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
Time
maybe,
to move off.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to defend the guy. You guys got to do what you got to do. Because when I always questioned, it was last year, like when it came down to it. Now I've changed my mind a bit, because Nylander showed me a little bit more spunk this year. But if you had to choose between Marner and Nylander, I was always leaning on the Marner side.
Of course.
But now I'm going, I gotta think about that, because like Nylander, first of all, bitched out the bitch for starters, and scored 240 goals in a row. And not only that, though, we don't know
3 goals in 4 games in that series against Boston.
So something must have been wrong down the stretch, because he didn't score for 13, and then he didn't play.
Oh, of course.
Something was weird, because like Willie going 13 without a goal.
Oh,
ooh.
and I remember the last thing that you said in your thing that was wrong. Marner's never hit 100 points.
Okay, 97. He's a 100-point scorer. Okay. I should have said 90-point guy. Sorry, 90-point guy. Did all listeners?
Everyone's scoring 90 points now in the NHL, though.
Stop it. There is not. Look at the guy in this year. How many? We got 15 guys?
That's a lot. That's one every other team.
Well, you should be able to go.
Case.
You should be able to, every team should be able to somehow manufacture a 90-point scorer in this age of no defense and bad goaltending, correct? Just
so
saying.
There were 17 guys that had 90 points or more.
17? Should be 20.
Okay, well,
it'll be 20, but
you're splitting hairs there.
Okay. In any event, I think that this has been a lot of fun today. A whole bunch of fun. I hope everybody that's listening feels the same way.
Should be an interesting offseason.
Yes, it should be.
Of course, still plenty of hockey left to go.
Oh, yeah, and still plenty of NBA to go. You know what I mean? I hope I'm talking about this year. I think that we should be about time where I picked up a site on the internet and got interested in what I usually get interested in 20 minutes for every 2 years, and that is the Euro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's coming quickly.
Yes, it's
just
the Euro.
over a month away.
And one thing before I go, I want to shout it out because I didn't do it last time. We got the PGA coming up next week, and I want to be I'm going to be in a tournament, and I'm going to just spill the beans now for the guys that are listening on the sites out there. I'm going to take Scheffler. I'm going to take Cantlay. I'm going to take Nick Taylor again because I need a Canadian. Xander Schauffele's going to win the Wells Fargo. Nobody ever wins the next week after winning the Wells Fargo, and I was going to take him going in. I'm taking the European, Abreu, and I'm going to take my buddy Morikawa. And the only guy I'm going to take from Liv is I'm going to take Koepka to show that he can be the PGA guy that he's always been.
Okay.
Anything else we want to talk about, buddy?
I do want your Habs to do well, but just patience. That's all I'll say to you.
Okay, listen, I wasn't negative about the Leafs that much this year. I was on the bandwagon. I watched the whole game in its entirety on Tuesday afternoon before I went to the game. One more time, just to see what went wrong with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the only thing that went wrong is your best guy who you're sending out of town did not keep side by side, released him too soon. And that's the name of that tune. Anything else, brother?
That's it.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Once again, we couldn't do it without you. This has been a whole bunch of fun, probably the most fun show I've had in a long time. I want to apologize for the interruption called Stanley.
It's okay, Stanley.
Let's get off the air before we come back. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And you know what we do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.